things happen. What do you think? Are you good?
So good.
Hey, everybody. Welcome. TGIF. I can't believe it. We're here early. What are you doing here?
What am I doing here?
You're supposed to be down here.
There's a commercial going on.
You're supposed to be here like at 8:30.
I start my day at 5 a.m. and I just roll from one thing to the next. I don't even know where I'm going unless my phone is binging telling me where to go to next.
How's everyone doing?
It's Friday. I hope
It
you
is
guys
Friday.
Are doing
It's
good.
early, so
it is early.
it's probably not going to be a lot of people on tonight, but that's okay. That's okay. We're going to do this early today.
Did you
we're gonna
announce
do,
it to people that
yeah,
we're going to be
I
here
put it
early?
out there as of yesterday. I think it was. I put it out there, or last night. I think, right? I think it was. I think it was last
so
night.
late?
That's how I am. I'm like last minute.
Oh
Actually,
my
what
gosh.
happened is they kept pushing it forward, backward.
Oh, okay.
Literally this afternoon, they said it was going to launch at like 2 o'clock or 2 something. I'm like, what? No one's going to be even around at 2 o'clock. So luckily they didn't. Let's just hope that this goes off. So this is not going to be the IFT deal. This is going to be the rescue mission.
Oh, Dutch Linux just said now it jumped to another hour from now.
Did it. There you go.
Lord.
And this is the kind of stuff that happens. So now what is it saying? It's saying 8:30. Yeah.
Who's all here? Let me see. Let me give a few shots. Oh, hey, Gala Girl, how are you?
How are you doing?
Fragile is here. Puddinhead, what's up,
Puddinhead?
David Fofi, Radioactive. Tex and Honey Badgers. Ken Harris, Dutch Linux. George, how are you, George? XMD. Just got notification that you are live.
There
Sweet.
you go.
Dave H, you made it.
I can't believe that you got
Force
notification.
Ghost Jeremy.
Yeah.
What's up?
If you're hanging out, put an emoji or put something in there so we can recognize you. So
Yes,
now that we
I like
know,
the Rockets.
we're here at what, 5 o'clock? Yes, 5 o'clock. Now supposedly.
It is so weird to be here at 5 o'clock.
Well, now they're saying it's supposed to go off at 8:30, the time that we normally would be here.
God, why? Honey Badgers, do you like? I figured because Monday is St. Patty's Day, just start early.
And I thought that
TGIF.
since St. Patrick's Day is coming, I'd wear like the appropriate shirt for
Dave
it.
Groh, hello from
This is
Missouri.
my shirt, by the way. You can find this over on my
Yeah,
website.
why are you walking around with lint?
Did
on
I have
your
lint
shirt?
on it? I don't
like
know.
I'm a stylist. You can't just roll up like
I
that.
need a
You're
roller
a
or
reflection
something.
of me. God, fix yourself, guys. Even at 5 o'clock.
She did fade me up yesterday, though, guys. She did fade me up.
Yes.
Because my hair was like, I was wearing a hat through like every
Yeah,
video
need a
for like the
little bit
last
shorter
week.
hair.
Did you mess it up?
Yeah, it was kind of dark. Just a little more. A little shorter.
Don't look at the top of my head. It's
no,
messed
the
up.
top is good. It's just back here. Because you have that little tornado thing going on.
I got a tornado. So anyways, guys, so now we're finding out that it's going to be three hours away. Let me see if they updated their site. Let's see what we got going on here.
I know, this is important stuff. Aren't we supposed to rescue people today?
Yeah, well, they're actually bringing up another crew. So
Yeah,
this is
no,
the
I know.
Crew 10 mission, right? Crew 10, which is kind of cool. I mean, I like to see it. I love to see the Falcons run. I also love to see anything coming out of Florida, which is cool. So technically, we could have went up there for this, but as we know, they're constantly changing.
I know.
And next thing you know, all of a sudden they're going to cancel it, and it won't happen until tomorrow. It's just hard to tell what goes on with this. It's not like the Falcon 9 normal rocket when they launch off like some DTC, satellites or some regular Starlink satellites. They're almost always on time. Very rarely is there a problem. But with this stuff, there's problems.
There's
I don't know.
problems. All right,
So-
Dave Groh, how are you? RGSD rules. Phil's camping, you're here.
Phil's camping. How are you doing?
What is up, Bryce Stewart? Sam Bougelon. Yes. Streamlabs is here. It says a poll is going on for...
Yeah, that's the Streamlabs thing. They're
but it
there
says
every.
I know, but it says a poll is going on for will SpaceX Starship FT8 successfully release dummy Starlink V3 satellite.
So that's like the dumbest stuff. And so Streamlabs is who we get all of our, now at least, notification stuff. So if you do a super chat, you like contribute $5, let's say, it'll say super chat by you, and it'll put your information in there, and it'll put you in the tally there of, who's on the super chat. Matter of fact, let's switch on over to here. Is there super chats on here? I don't see the super chat. Oh, there they are.
Yeah.
They come in at the top.
Yeah.
So we can see Peter Gosling, which the last time picked up five free memberships for people. And then, of course, we have Shannon with 50 free gifted memberships, which is amazing. So that's the kind of thing. So this is what happens with Streamlabs, which is kind of cool, but it's still kind of stupid. It's limited, so I don't know how long I'm going to use it. I think it's great because I like to give you guys all the props possible whenever you do these super chats or you're contributing or whatever you're doing. New members and all the rest of this stuff. I think it's great. But anyways, there's always limitations. We do what we do what we can do.
We do what we do.
We do what we can do. So this is what the screen, real quick. All right. So this is what the screen looks like right now. SpaceX. Now, what's interesting, if you see down here, do I have my pointer on? Does it actually work? Can you see it? No, you can't. Anyways, down here in the lower left-hand corner, it says starting March 14th, 5:50 p.m. So that's supposedly when they're going to go live with their coverage. So that would be in less than an hour. But if it's an hour delayed, then it's going to be a little bit less than 2 hours. So what's going to happen? I don't know. Like I said, I was getting reports that this was supposed to launch like around 2 something in the afternoon. And I'm like, you know what? If it launches at 2 something, I'm just going to record it. And then I'll just give you highlights on the 8:30 JC Live. But since supposedly they're going to go at a reasonable time, we're just going to hang out. All right.
So I want to say hi to Ian, who is here from Peterborough, UK.
How you doing, Ian? Thank you for being here.
Eli Samuel Adolfo.
Nice.
Voce sempre será infinitos. I love it. I kind of get what it says. Planet Earth. What did you just write? Jay, hello. To some of evangelical truth, especially that, sexy, not what it reads. Autocorrect loves me.
Yeah.
Andrew W. Cowboy John.
Cowboy John.
No, Dutch. The bathroom is not
Stop with the damn bathroom.
Oh, my God.
Hey, guys, listen. Do me a favor. So put an @JCristina.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to write it in here on the chat.
@JCristina. If you have any questions or if you just want to say anything to us, just put @JCristina so that we know that the comment is coming to us.
Right, wait, I'm going to do
it. Makes it highlighted. We used to do a lot of Q before your question, but even the Q sometimes gets buried because you don't see it.
You don't
Whereas
see
the
it?
@JCristina, you can see it. It's
Yeah,
in
I
bright
know,
orange, or like especially on here, you can see it in bright orange and it pops up.
Joey, it's only you, babe.
It's just me.
It's just you.
Right.
Honey badgers. Wait, I have to read this. It has nothing to do with space.
Excellent.
But I was thinking about you because it says, Fab, I absolutely love Wicked Cosmetics. Eye colors apply true colors and lip colors are so creamy. Love, love, love them. Oh, I'm so happy that you like them.
And who was that?
Honey badgers.
Honey badgers. Awesome.
Because I actually touched up my eyes and that's what I'm wearing today.
And I touched mine up too.
I'm going to do a tutorial on Joe with them. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm really happy you like them. I'm going to share with my daughter. So that's awesome. And hopefully we'll have, more stuff to come in the future. All right.
Absolutely.
So that was way off of anything space related.
Yeah,
or
we
technology,
went from space
sorry.
to, some really good makeup is kind of techie.
I mean, that's what I bring in. I bring in.
It's a push, but we're there. We're pushing.
I bring in everything but tech and space.
And I like that. It gives balance to my bullshit.
Oh my God. Yeah, but it's not even close to being together.
Guys, what did you think about my DTC video that I just did explaining what direct to sell is all about? Did you like it? I got a lot of positive feedback on that one. Some people that are in the industry are like, wow, you were spot on with it. And I was like, it made me feel good. It's like I did the research and I think I put it across hopefully well. If you didn't see it and you don't know what DTC is all about or direct to sell, definitely watch that video. It was like my last video, I believe, or the time before that. I don't know. Take a look at it. I put a lot of effort into it, and hopefully when someone doesn't know, I can direct them to that video and say, watch this, and you should get a grasp of what exactly it is. DTC is direct to sell. It allows us to use our cell phones as sat phones and communicate with satellites when there is no service at all because there's no towers. So that was a lot of fun putting together. So anyways, let me just say, before we get into any kind of comments, once again, put @JCristina. It just makes it simple. I just want to say that there was controversy that was perpetuated by both the president and
wait, hold on. And want you guys to know that we had our own debate about it too.
Yeah. So there was controversy, and what came out from the president as well as Elon was that the folks up there, the two astronauts that went up on the Boeing piece of dog crap Starliner that ended up having helium leaks or I don't even know what the hell. It had problems with the thrusters. And just in short, if the thrusters aren't working absolutely perfect and that craft doesn't come in and break through the atmosphere at the exact angle, it burns up. That's it. It'll blow up. It'll burn up. The heat shielding's only on the bottom, okay, of that conal shape. So if it doesn't come in just right, so if those thrusters aren't working up to snuff, they pretty much will be dead. And NASA knew that, and they said, listen, we're not going to allow that to happen. So they ended up postponing what those two astronauts were supposed to be there for 8 days, that now it ends up 8 months. That's Butch, Wilmore, and I think it's Suni Williams, I believe. Yes, Suni Williams. Anyways, those two. And literally 8 days turned into 8 months. And the problem that I had with it, and I did the research just to make sure that I wasn't completely off here. I went back to my videos that I talked about this when this was all going down and the leaks were happening and the thrusters weren't working and they were doing tests and all the rest of this stuff. And at that time I reported on this and I said, well, NASA at this point is saying, listen, we're going to postpone them coming back. We're going to leave them up there until we can bring them back with the Crew 9 crew that's up there now. So what we're going to do is we're going to shuttle up, instead of 4 people on Crew 10, we're going to send 2 people, right? That gives basically 2 seats for them to come. Anyways, long story short, what we've been hearing in the news and down the grapevine is that these people are stranded there and they were just left there, basically lost in space, and it's just really not the case. And a lot of things have been coming out where it's like the current president will say, Elon, we want you to go and rescue them. The past administration didn't do what they're supposed to do and they should be back and all the rest of this stuff. And the thing with that is it's just not the case. Absolutely not the case. And we had a debate going back and forth because in the mainstream media, you hear this shit all the time. And
it's all in the wording, people.
And reporting on this, I knew that it wasn't true because I remember how it all went down. So on August 7th is when it first was notified, or when we knew that they were going to be coming back on the next mission. And each mission is about 6 months old, right? 6 months is about all it is. So that would take them into the end of February, beginning of March, when they were going to be returned. And that was known in August of 2024. And that's why, like on this show, I try to be balanced, right? I don't go one way or another as much. So, a lot of times I'll lean right because as of right now, that just seems to be right, what's been going on. But I always like to weigh things, and I'll give you the truth as I see it. Now, I could be wrong, and someone out there might know something more than I do, but I remember reporting on it. August 7th was the first time that we knew, and then August 20th, we're not talking about like January, right? We know what happened in January, right? August 20th is when NASA made the official report that we're going to leave them there until now, okay? So nothing changed. Nothing changed at all. Just the rhetoric.
The timeline, though,
No,
changed.
but it didn't change because the timeline was based on that back in August. Nothing changed.
Full 9 months.
Now, a full 8 months is what it was going to be, because remember, it was 6 months
this is what we
the
kept
timeline.
Going about back
It's a
and
6 month timeline. So
then why did they say from the beginning that it was shorter?
No, because it's supposed to have been that they were only going to be there for 8 days, and that is it. What ended up happening was, now remember, so they launched, okay? It was like June, I think it was like June 5th, somewhere around there. Or June 4th, and they docked on the 5th. Let's just say the beginning of June is when they got there. And they were having problems, and and there was issues. And then it went through this whole process of trying to test out the thrusters, seeing where this helium leak was, and all the rest of the stuff. And they figured out by August 7th, when I reported on this, that listen, we can't fix this, okay? And it's just simply not safe. And then on August 20th, NASA officially said, we are not going to bring them back. That craft is going to come back autonomously without any human on board because we don't want to burn them up, because we don't know if it's safe or not. We feel that it might not be safe. So we knew that they weren't coming back until the end of February, the beginning of March, way back on August 20th. So keep that in mind. So when you hear all of this bullshit on the news, okay, you have an understanding of what the truth is and then what all of the fallacies are, or let's say the pushed truths, where everything that you hear that's fake usually ends up being partial truths. And that's why they sound so real, even though they're not. So anyway, so I just want to bring that to your attention because, some people will yell at me, oh, you're for Trump, and it's like, I hate Elon, and you're an ass for covering him. I will call out whatever it is. I don't really care. I'm not in bed with any of these people. I'm like my own guy, and that's why hopefully you get the truth as I see it, and then you can be the judge one way or another. Anyways, so today is the day. And they're going to end up having this crew back up there, and they're going to have a ship that's going to be available for 4 people to come back, and we're going to have the 2 astronauts finally back on the planet. And the thing is if you ask them if they're stranded, they're going to say absolutely not. We've been doing a lot of testing. We've been doing a lot of scientific work. We're not stranded. So
I did find something out this morning.
Please tell me.
What's the guy's name again? Is it
Who?
Butch?
Oh, yeah. Butch.
Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. I'm just kidding.
Butch Wilmore.
I'm just kidding. Butch has not been on Earth to really see his daughter's senior year. And her graduation is coming up, and they're hoping to get him back.
I love that you said that.
Right?
So now let's look at it, the other side of it.
So it was
now,
pre-planned or not pre-planned?
So let's look at it the other way. The other way that I see it is forget about the past administration, and let's look at Boeing. Boeing came up with a piece of shit, okay, that didn't work. It was the inaugural flight, and it had a lot of problems. So, as Boeing, right, they should have stepped up to the plate and said, listen, we want to hire Elon Musk, SpaceX, right, to send up another Dragon ship and bring him home. They could have done that
so why
6
didn't
months ago, but they didn't.
And why is that?
And what's really annoying about the whole thing is that while I think that it's a Boeing problem and Boeing should have stepped up, and I do think that Starliner is going to end up being canceled, they're not going to get any more money. I think it's pretty much game over because they didn't step up. All right, they didn't do the right thing, in my personal opinion.
Right.
I did some research on this too, because that's what I do. I like to dig in a little bit. I found out that the Boeing Starliner cost so far a total of $6.32 billion. That's NASA putting in $4.8 billion and Boeing putting in $1.5 billion. Then this Dragon ship, okay? The Dragon was $6.8 billion, right? It's more, okay? To about $7.3 billion. NASA put in $6.3 billion and SpaceX put in $1 billion. But the difference is that SpaceX's, right, now has flown 13 times and has worked 13 times to not only put humans up there to the ISS, but also bringing cargo. That has been it. Because prior to that, we were not able to get to the ISS at all. The only way for us to put crew on the ISS is we would have to call up Putin. Everyone loves Putin right now. This was back in Obama time. Hey, Putin, yeah, we need to get a couple of crew up there to the ISS. Do you think you can give us a hand? Putin says, yeah, I can do that. Can you do something for me? And then what would you do? You scratch me. Exactly. And we do it all on some vodka. Anyway, and that's exactly what's happened. For many, many years, the only way that we can get crew up to the ISS is using Russia. And God knows everyone loves Russia and Putin. But that's how it was until SpaceX came along and Elon Musk started delivering our people to the ISS. Anyways, I just wanted to bring that to your attention. I'll probably reiterate this in about 2 or 3 hours for people that just came on board at that time when we finally take off, so to speak. But I think that it's very important because a lot of people, they don't understand the backstory. And then later on, they believe certain things based on what they hear. And we know that if you say something long enough, not only will you believe it, but everyone around you will start to believe it too. right? So anyways, that's my rant.
So
Do I
I
have any
started to
kicks?
believe it, and then I had to hear all this.
Because you hear it, right? And
No,
you
it's true,
you
though.
hear it from multiple
Because-
sources, and then you believe it.
And it's like you said, it's they're not lying.
They're not lying.
They're just not
It's
saying
partial
the whole
truths.
thing. Yeah, and it's the way they twist it and spin
Yeah.
it, massage it, roll it out, flip it, turn it out.
And that's on both sides.
Right,
And it happens
right.
all the time.
Yeah.
So you just have to have a little bit of an open mind, and then you can kind of cut through all of the BS. Let me put the bullshit meter on.
Mm-hmm.
There you go, guys. Bullshit. I have
Well,
to call it. Sometimes you just have to call it.
No, I thought you were gonna do a poop emoji. Where is it?
Oh, I don't have the poop emoji. I got the
Guys.
bullshit meter. I like the bullshit
You know,
meter.
I leave-
Guys, do you want a poop
Couple
emoji?
weeks go by, and I come back and no poop emoji. You see?
You know what? How if we just put Elon on? There you go.
Oh Lord.
We got the bullshit emoji, and we got Elon dancing
Phil,
around.
Phil, I'm doing this for you, Phil.
Oh shit.
I'm gonna
Guys,
do
so
it,
I'm
though.
sorry for the rant. If I'm wrong with
Why
anything.
are you sorry for the
Listen,
rant? That's
if-
why they're here.
if-
It's rant time.
If I'm wrong about any of this and my research is off, please tell me. I would rather be wrong than right so that I actually learn something too. All right? That's what we're here for. All right? It's not like just some talking head all the time, just preaching. All right? I learn so much from you guys because I'm wrong a lot. What are we doing with this? Am I going to light your hair on fire?
Phil wants you to light it up because he feels like you need to light it up. Maybe because you're lit.
We ready?
You're lit at 5 o'clock.
We're lit at fire. Okay, I'll take the bullshit meter off, but we'll keep Elon playing there. And you know what? How about if we leave Elon and we shoot off a rocket too? How about if we do that? All right, all right. Here we go. Is it going to go far?
I don't know. I'm backing up though.
Sometimes, guys, sometimes this thing will launch
Oh,
out this
Lord.
far. It's defective. I don't know. We're going to have to get in touch with Elon because
no,
this
because
is
when I
like.
use it, it doesn't. Only when you touch it.
That's true. Like normally, it's supposed to be like a torch this far. Sometimes it'll literally go like a foot. All right, here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Jesus! Did you see it?
See?
It did it again.
Phil,
Look.
did you see? This is why I backed up. If not, I'd have.
What
no
is
hair.
that?
This
It only
would be on.
does it. I'm telling you, it's defective. We're gonna have to. Like, how if I lit a cigar or something? Not that I
Well,
smoke
there
them,
goes
but
your
if I do,
face.
I would like I would like burn. Like I don't know. So maybe we'll use this. I don't.
To
I
launch
don't. I'm
it?
feeling comfortable holding this thing.
That's yours.
This is what does that even mean? So yeah,
You
so-
ordered that.
So
it was like special order.
this was special order. Guys, I've been talking to a few people, and if you are one of them, thank you. If you're not, and you can do this, thank you beforehand. Reach out to me over at JCristina.com, and if you have a 3D printer, a good one, that you can print a big ass version, okay, of this, maybe even with the super heavy on it, maybe with the tower, I don't know. But if you can 3D print it for me, we'll set you up with a little bit of, or whatever you need, maybe a little shout out or maybe a little bit of dinero, whatever you need. I would like to have the Block 2 version of this where you see these flaps, instead of being at 180 degrees, the flaps are tucked in to the dorsal portion of it, right? At about 120 degrees. So they're tucked in, which would be the Block 2 version. So if you could do that, reach out to me. Once again, jcristina.com/contact, I think, or contacts. I don't know. Just go to jcristina.com and then click contact. It'll take you there. Send me a message. I'll hit reply, and then we'll be able to kind of talk back and forth. All right, what am I missing now?
Oh, nothing. Really.
I see a bunch of kicks over there from
Planet Earth.
Planet Earth. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. You know what? This whole little dissertation that I gave. You know who would be really happy about this? Who's it that's always busting my ass with the whole Trump thing? Who is it?
Mo?
Mo? Is it Mo?
I don't know.
No, it isn't Mo.
I have no
Who
idea.
is it? I don't know. I'll think about it.
Yeah.
So, anyways, are we saying hello to anyone? Is there any questions? I'm sure there's got to
Just
be
comments.
questions.
Timothy said, also the term stranded is correct, being stuck somewhere for a longer period of time than was planned.
Okay. I see. So stranded to me, yes, longer than time. So stranded to me means that you're like stranded on a deserted island. You're stranded in the desert. You're stranded where you'd have no way of getting back. That's the way your car died and now you're stranded on the road. That's the way I interpret stranded, like if there's no way coming back. And that is not the case. because they actually have an escape pod there. They also have the Russians that if they absolutely had to, they can come back with them. But they do have methods of getting off if they need to. So they're not stranded like in perpetuity or something, lost in space. So that's the way I look at stranded. But, everyone has a different way of, interpreting. And absolutely, that's the beauty, right? Everyone looks at it a little bit different. Anyways. What do we got?
Jim McHale said stranded at the drive-in.
Being forced to watch an absolute crap movie, right?
Yes.
Let's see here. You're doing you. I'm just going to kind of float back here just in case. And if for some reason we missed a question because I just ranted forever.
David Fofi said, do we have a fire extinguisher? I said, no, I would just catch on fire, you guys.
Yeah,
you would watch me live as my hair would just fall.
She would do like the Michael Jackson, and then we'll have to put a wig on her, and I don't know.
I'm glad I have some skills on that. That'd be lovely.
Dutch Lennox says stranded is like not knowing that the escape pod is what you're saying will work. Yeah, wouldn't be a good thing. Yeah, you have a problem with the escape pod. Now what? Right?
Yeah. Andrew has a question.
Yes, Andrew.
What method did you use to back up your Windows files? Any issues moving those files into Linux? Thanks.
So I wrote a book. Back here.
I shall get it.
You're gonna get it? Oh, you know what? Here, I'll just get one from over here.
Right here.
No, but then you have to take it down and then.
It's right here. You're so slow.
All right. Okay. So, we don't need this one. So anyways, so I wrote this book, right? How to create a digital Fort Knox. Shameless plug. How to create a digital Fort Knox backing up your digital life, okay? I wrote this when I was...
Andrew said he owns that book.
Thank you. So I wrote that book when I was trying to move from an off-the-shelf means of backup to something that was, let's say, less proprietary. So if something went south, I knew I wasn't going to lose all my data because the RAID array is proprietary, and if you don't have the proper... Anyways, I'm not going to get into RAID arrays and different RAID 1, RAID 0, RAID 10, whatever. The bottom line is I wrote this when I built an unraid server, and I taught everyone through this book how to do it themselves, literally using parts that were like 10, 15 years old, and it works. And I've been using it now for about 2+ years since I wrote the book, and I still use it today. So what I did with all the good questions that you had, I took all of the files that I absolutely needed from Windows, I dumped it onto the Unraid server that I built, right? I think right now it has about 42 terabytes, I think, on it, 32 or 42, I don't know, it's a lot. Terabytes of space storage on it. I dumped it onto there, and then what's nice is when I'm on my Linux system, I can go into it and go and get any of those files that I need to. Now, some of the files obviously will work, some of them won't. If it's a text file, it's going to be fine. You know, if it's a PSD file, we could probably still use it. It just depends on what the file is. If it's an exe, obviously you're not going to run it unless you're running some other type of VM, like a virtual machine or something. There's things that you can do to run even exes in Linux. But bottom line is my Windows, like I always say, is still sitting here, and I've never put it back for about 160 days now, 180 days, somewhere on there. Been using only Linux for all of the work that we do, from photo to video to audio to just everything. It's all on Linux. And we're using Linux Mint 22.1 now.
And you haven't had any issues moving files?
No issues moving files. So, obviously, as long as it's a compatible file.
Into Linux,
but yes, moving it in is not a problem at all. Once again, the intermediary would be the Unraid server that houses everything. And I use it all the time for backing stuff up now. I back up all of the video, all of the 4K video, all of the finals, everything goes onto that Unraid server. And it runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and it never shuts off. And it's been running for over 2 years now on parts that were sitting in my garage for years in the heat and humidity of Florida. And it's still working. Right? Knock on wood. But anyway, so yeah, there you go. How to create a digital Fort Knox, backing up your digital life. I put a bunch of time into it, and I just, I just love doing it because I like to help people. And if it's something, the same thing that I did with SpaceX Starlink, I had a problem. The problem was we had absolute crap internet. We solved the problem using Elon Musk, SpaceX Starlink, and I wanted to bring you on this journey with me. So for the last 46 months now or so, 45 months, I've been doing these videos. Now over 440 videos of SpaceX Starlink stuff.
That's a little bit of stuff.
It's a couple of videos.
Do you consider yourself an expert at Starlink?
I hate the word expert because that kind of connotes that I just know absolutely
sarcastic.
Everything. I would say no, but I let's
think
just
you're
say
pretty well versed.
Let's say I'm pretty well versed. Okay, I do consultations for corporations on the product, and I don't work for them just because I know it inside and out, and I have a back understanding. I was a system administrator, so I have a network understanding, and I know exactly how this stuff works. So I can help people build out networks, mesh networks and whatnot around SpaceX Starlink. And that's what I do.
Sweet.
On the side, consultation also on
Wow,
on the store. I'm just like
plugging
plugging
now.
today. Anyways,
Listen,
David.
I'm going to do like Tom Cruise, show me the money.
Show me the money. David, thank you so much for the super chat. That is
Yes,
awesome.
yes.
Good to see you too. Thank you. Thank you. Really appreciate those super chats.
Andrew said, okay, thanks. That gives me some idea what to expect.
Yeah, it's not that hard. It's
And
pretty easy.
Space Cowboy, thank you for all your help and everything Starlink related. Very much appreciated.
Thank you for that.
Let's see. Darned Ghost 2008. It will be worse to miss return flight window from Mars than you have to being stranded 26 months. Elon better not screw up.
Yeah. So that is a really good comment. Some people don't understand what you're saying, but to get to Mars or from Mars to Earth, either which way, either direction, there's a window of about 30 to 60 days, somewhere around there. And that window opens every 26 months. So you have a very short period of time. It's a small window to be able to launch and be able to meet, because remember, we're in this oblong type of path. So what ends up happening here, we have perfect,
Wait,
right?
really quick. It
Yes.
says, Jim Sims. When is the launch? Like, have they changed it? So, like, how many?
I didn't hear anything. Let's flip over to this here.
Countdown here.
Yeah, let's take a look at this and let's see if this changed. Yeah, do you see this right down here? It still says 5:50 p.m. today when they are going to start live. That means that within an hour after that usually is when, or an hour and a half is when it's going to launch. So I don't know. Supposedly they're saying 8:30.
Oh no, the launch is supposed to be 8:30, but starting live at 5:50. Gotcha.
At 5:50, but it was supposed to launch at like 7:03 originally. So when it launches, I don't know. I don't see them going live at 5:50 if they're going to launch at 8:30. They're not going to be live for 3 hours. They're just not going to do it. So until we see something here change, I'm just going to stick with them going and launching this thing at 7:03. I mean, I don't know.
All right,
but,
Dutch Linux.
what was I saying? Oh, so when we're coming into Mars, right, and we're coming from Earth, once again, it's this oblong type of path, right? It's not circular. So what ends up happening is if Mars is here and it's going away from us, right, and we're launched and we're coming up to it, we actually kind of like pass it by a little bit, slow down, and kind of back into it, kind of. Sort of. So that whole process of coming through from us, crisscross, and going straight over across to them, that process takes about, 6-8 months or something to get there. But once again, you have to do it when Mars is going to be at its closest distance from Earth and actually connect with it at that time. So it's like, there's math. There's a lot of math that goes into it. It's not just like, just throw it up. Yeah, let's just shoot off to Mars, because it's not like that. Just to give you a quick an idea on how far it is. If you were to take a laser, okay, and shoot a laser for communications, okay, from Mars to Earth, the transmission time would be approximately 4 minutes. Bidirectionally would be 8 minutes. That's when Mars is at its tightest or closest position to Earth. When it's at its farthest point from Earth, that more than doubles. It goes into like 20, 30, a long time. So what ends up happening is if you don't make it happen in that period of time, you're not going to catch it. So you don't have an option. You have to launch within that 2-hour or 2-month window, or you're kind of screwed. That's kind of like the bottom line there. Once again, 26 months. So every 26 months, the idea is that starships are going to go there. They're not going to launch well, maybe when they first start. I have a feeling in 2026, they will launch 2 or 3 starships. I don't think they're going to launch one, because if one blows up or there's a problem with it, well, you still have others, right? If you just have one and then that's screwed, what ends up happening is now you're out 2 years before you can do it again. So I think they'll launch by 2026. They're going to launch a few of them. Just you can hold me to it. I'm going to almost guarantee it. Okay, because then the next launch cycle will be 26 months when they're going to launch another batch. So they'll probably do, let's say, 5 the first time in 2026. In 2028, maybe they'll do 10 or 15. In 2030, you know, I see what I'm saying? And they'll just get more and more. If all goes well, if they go and freaking jam this thing into the side of Mars, and all 3 of them or all 5 of them end up just catapulting themselves to death,
Jesus.
well, then I don't know. Maybe they'll have to rethink it. I don't know.
Good Lord.
Anyways, thanks Dutch Linux for the kicks. Appreciate that.
Pissed off puppy.
Pissed off pop or puppy?
Puppy. It's Pi Day?
It's Pi Day?
I don't know.
Oh, Pi Day, like pie, like a Raspberry Pi, like a 3.14, like a Pi.
Dave said the fact that the 2 of the lunar landers couldn't land properly scares me.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. You know, one lunar lander was like what? Like 80 mil or something, and then the other one was like 180 mil or something. It was like they were different. I forgot what the prices were. I did the whole report on it already. I don't remember exactly, but they were like almost double the one that actually landed that did well. Let's say cost about $100 million more. So I was joking. I'm like, yeah, maybe the other guy needs the extra 100 mil. Maybe NASA could cough up a little bit extra, and then they can have 2 that actually reach it. But yeah, one didn't make it. You know, so like that whole lunar lander thing, I thought was just as stupid. I mean, I said it in my video. I'm like, you know, we used to play a game, right? That lunar lander, and you would come in, you would land, and you would have to sit there and use your thrusters and not blow the thing up, right? But when I looked at these landers, and one lander was like, here we go. One lander looked like this, all right? It was this tall drink of water. That's one lander, right? And then the other lander was like this squatty, wide base lander, right? This one that they tried twice, the first time they broke a leg off, and now the second time it landed like in the middle of a crater, probably soft sand, leg went in, and then what did it do? It toppled over. Once it toppled over, it's done. Whereas this one, she's hurting me right now. So whereas this one, which is squatty, lower to the ground and really wide, and the mass, the center mass of it is very low, when it lands, it doesn't tip over. It could have probably landed in that silky sand, and it probably still wouldn't have tipped over. Once again, that company, whatever company it was, you know which one it was, that looked like this damn thing, they just need to go back to the drawing board. You can't land something like this on there with these little legs.
All right, little legs. I'm going to kick you. I missed Dutch's question. He's like, geez, answer my question.
What is it?
Joe, have you tried Garuda Linux? Curious what you think of that, what is it, distro?
Yeah, the distribution. I have not. I've tried a lot of Linux already, but that one I have not tried. Someone just wrote to me an email today that says, Joe, you need to relook at MX Linux because it's really good, and I love it. Why don't you love it? I tried it for a short period of time. I didn't love it, but I'm going to try it again. Okay, so right now we're using Linux Mint 22, originally 22. Now it just updated 2 days ago to Linux Mint 22.1. Okay, and during that upgrade, I took a look at everything is working perfectly. So that's good. Sometimes when you upgrade, it breaks stuff, and you're like, oh God, why did I upgrade? So, but everything works really good, and that's right now Mint. Mint is doing well, but yeah, I'm going to try some others. I was going to do them. I was going to try some. Matter of fact, this week, but there was so much going on that I just couldn't. I had to report on some of this stuff because some of it was really good information, good stuff. So,
all right,
go ahead.
Let me
Space
see.
Cowboy 3.14.
Yes. Yeah, pi.
Pi.
Because today's 3:14.
Hi, Pi.
Get it?
I get it.
I didn't get it because I was slow. Because this week has been a week for me. So thanks.
All right.
Let's see. Jim Sims.
How you doing,
Watching a
Jim?
lot of YouTube. You guys are the most knowledgeable on computers and connecting. Haven't seen any other program like yours.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't have all the answers, but we try to kind of, keep it entertaining.
I mean, I don't try. I don't know anything. I'm just here.
My thoughts when I started this, you're just hanging out, right?
I'm just hanging out.
Yeah, and then argue with me about stuff. That's what I like.
I mean, once in a while, I'll be like, hey, I heard
wrong.
this, that, and then like that whole, the stranded thing, and that we had like a whole debate yesterday on the couch about it, and I'm like, but that's not how they say, and they're not saying it right.
Didn't we have a debate about some other like shot type of thing too, like this?
Yeah.
We had initially it was like this debate. Yeah.
Whatever.
So,
anyways,
when I first started doing this whole YouTube craziness, my thought was I wanted to do something that was like edutainment, where it's educational but it's also entertaining. That was like the goal. I'm not like I don't tell jokes and stuff, but I try to keep it light. And my idea is I'm very graphically inclined, pictorially inclined, so I try to, as much as possible, make things easy for you to visualize, very hard topics, so that you get it and you understand it. That's why we say like the channel's not just about the how this works, how that is, but the why behind it, because then you kind of understand it. So even if you're looking at something similar, you're like, yeah, I know why that does that. And now all of a sudden you just simply get it. It's the same thing with knowing Latin. We just have this discussion all the time.
I think that's why we're together so long. We just have debates continually.
We just debate. But when you know Latin, right? Or a good portion of Latin, you don't have to speak it, but when you understand Latin, you know Latin, it's very easy for you to understand a lot of different things because a lot of this stuff comes from Latin. So normally someone that knows Latin, or let's say a good portion of it, they do really well at ACTs and SATs. They do really well when it comes to IQ tests and all this stuff because it's based around Latin. And a lot of the terminology, the same thing when it's scientific, or if it's in the medical field, a lot of the stuff is Latin. It's the same type of thing. Anyways, I digress. Questions?
Yes, and some comments.
Oh.
My turn.
Yes, go ahead.
Let's see. Greg Atlas, you can fit approximately 164 of our suns between Earth and Mars for an idea of the distance involved.
Amazing, right?
I get that now.
See?
Yeah.
Graphical.
Yeah.
164 suns.
Yes, that's crazy.
I can see it.
Dutch said we should kick Joe's lander.
You would kick my what?
Lander.
Yeah, I took this thing apart just so I can show the thing.
Kenneth Kerstrin, you missed the lunar eclipse too?
Yes.
Didn't ya?
Yes,
yeah,
I
but
did.
didn't it happen like at 2 or 3
so
a.m.?
Here, it
Because
ended up
we talked
happening.
about it. We debated about that too. And I was like, you can get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I got to be up at 5.
It was like 2:38 or something stupid. I'm like, I can't stay up for it. The last time that this happened was a few years back. I actually videoed it and I also took photos because I have like a massive bazooka for lenses, because of course, I'm a professional photographer also. So, I have like 400, 600, I got like large millimeter lenses that are really wide, fast glass, if you know photography. So I did some really great work on the last one, but this one I'm like, it's too late. What I really wanted to do is I wanted to go live for the lunar eclipse and literally play it for you guys through like the mega telescope that I have. I thought that would have been awesome.
The problem is that Joseph thinks about these things
the last minute,
like 30 minutes before.
And I'm scrambling. I'm like, how am I going to do this?
And then it's like,
I can't do
you're
it.
not. Like, it's just,
Maybe next time. I don't know.
Good
But
Lord.
yeah, I had, that was like the idea.
All right. So I want to backtrack a little bit.
Yes, please do.
Because
Backtrack.
I wanted to talk about, we were talking about Boeing. And, I travel a lot. Like a lot. And lately this whole plane situation is just crazy. And
Not
just
it.
yesterday, last night, I think in Denver, an American Airlines emergency landing, and then the wing caught on fire. And I was like, what the hell? So Space Cowboy was saying Boeing really dropped the ball. Yeah,
I don't know what the hell. I literally don't know what the hell is going on.
I don't know why all of a sudden everything is just, and like when I fly, first of all, you can hardly get direct flights anymore. You have to have a layover somewhere.
Yeah, it's
you're
it's
now
like a
getting
bus
on
service.
a plane up and down. So for to go one place, you're getting on a plane twice and
Sometimes
taking
three
off
times.
Yeah, it's just crazy. So yeah.
They're literally
Anyways.
running the airlines like a Greyhound bus, where it's like
just
stop
crazy.
by stop by stop. You're like, no, I just want to go from here to Texas. Oh yeah, but that's okay. But you need to go to Atlanta, Georgia
so
first. I
never
don't want to
mind-
go to Atlanta, Georgia. I just want to go to Texas.
Right. So days of you traveling and getting there in 2 and
2,
3
3
hours,
hours,
it's
that's
now
gone.
like a 6 to 8 hour
now,
day.
now it's like
It's just
8 hours.
crazy.
You know what? While you do that, let me go and switch over to
For
here.
the time. Okay.
yeah.
Andrew said, my wife gives me the Reader's Digest kick when I go into too much info. Radioactive Texan, MX Linux is great for older hardware. I use it on my older laptops and Mint on desktops.
Okay, well there you go. That makes sense.
good to know.
All right, so let's see, guys. Let's scroll down here. This is SpaceX.com, and here we go. Read the
they
words,
live?
the words, the words. The answer is always in the words. What does it say? SpaceX and NASA is targeting and earlier than Friday, no earlier than Friday, March 14th, Falcon 9's launch of the Dragon 10th operational human spaceflight mission, Crew 10 to the International Space Station, or ISS, Launch Complex 39A. But now look what it says. NASA's Kennedy Space Center, that's right up the road from us, is targeted at 7:03 p.m. ET, Eastern Time, or Eastern Standard Time, or Eastern Daylight Time, however you want to look at it. Anyways, backup opportunities is March 5th or March 15th at 6:41 p.m. So, I don't know, guys. I don't know. It's like, are they not updating the site, or and it's actually later, or is this correct? I don't know what the answer is. So we will see.
It is Eastern Time, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know. I don't get it.
All right.
We'll see.
I'm just gonna read a little more. Let's see. Dutch and Linux upgrades only breaks things when you are 2 versions behind.
Yeah, it does.
Hello, Joe from Surf City, North Carolina.
How are you doing?
Pissed off puppy. Every time you guys argue, you should take off an article of clothing.
I'll be running
That
around
is
here
the
damn
wrong
naked.
channel.
Yeah. What is that, like OnlyFans?
Yeah, something
Yeah, we'll
like
put an
that.
OnlyFans together.
Oh,
We'll just be
great.
running around here butt ass.
Jesus,
I don't even
no.
know, because
No.
we arguing all the time.
Good Lord, no.
We'd be
let's
taking
not.
clothes off and then having to put them back on
Oh my
because we're
God.
arguing so much.
Well, pissed off puppy, thanks.
Thank you for that.
Jim Sims. Hi, Joe. Do you think Starship 9 is going to be set back for months, even though Elon said 4 to 6 weeks?
No, I think it'll be 6 weeks. That's my prediction. 5 to 6 weeks.
Kenneth Kirstrin. I came for the jokes. Unsubscribed.
Unsubscribe.
Andrew, you're right on. A picture is worth 1,000 words.
Absolutely.
TJ Miracle. Jay is a powerhouse of knowledge in many areas. Definitely is why I continue coming to this channel. I enjoy challenging
Thank
the
you.
way we think, which sharpens us.
Yeah, I say this all the time, like, I want to be wrong. I want people to tell me that I'm wrong, and then I want them to give me citation and verse of why I'm wrong so that I can learn something. That's the whole purpose of this. It's not like sitting on a pulpit someplace just like screaming out like all of this facts. I mean, I know some stuff, but I'm wrong many times, and people call me out on it, and then I'll go back like in the next video and be like, look, I was wrong on this, and this is what we found. So I appreciate all you guys, and trust me, I get so many. I've been behind on my email. Literally, there was this morning 470 emails or something like that, 480. And I was going through them today, but I had the video to do today, and I had to do some things with my father who's elderly and had to go to the doctors and whatnot. So I had stuff to do, but I got it down to 157 emails left. I know it doesn't sound like I did a good job, but from 470 or 400 and something down to 1 something isn't bad. So hopefully I can get through those during the weekend. because I hate having that over my head because
No.
a lot of times you guys will say, listen, I wrote to you, you never answered me or whatever. And it's like, I haven't got to it. There's just so much, And this
No,
weekend,
no.
I'm going to be working on the bathroom.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's
because
no
I'm reading her
answering of
mind,
emails.
and it's it hurts like right here, so
It
I can
hurts.
hear her. There's
because
pain.
he's reading my mind.
I'm reading it,
And it hurts
It's
his
making me
belly.
sweat.
If I grab him right now and put him in a chokehold, that's really going to hurt him. But not in his belly.
Yeah.
Because then he'll be reading my hand.
Yeah. So, matter of fact, this weekend, I think I'm going to be ripping that toilet out.
God,
So that's going to be fun times for me. I'm
You
going to
know what? We're
yeah.
gonna hit the 3-year mark in October. I'm excited for it.
I'm
gonna
taking the
have
toilet out.
I'm gonna have a what is it? A lunar toilet party.
You're gonna have a. You know
3
what?
years.
As of tomorrow, you're gonna have a toilet eclipse.
Oh my God.
You're gonna have to go to the other bathroom unless you want to
know what?
stand over a
Y'all-
hole, a
y'all,
6-inch hole.
You get to see the good Joey. You don't get to deal with the crazy.
We're gonna do this just like in China, where they you go into a stall that there's not even a stall. There's just holes in the ground. That's just it. That's
Oh,
that's your whole
God.
thing. We're just gonna do that, and you're gonna have, like I said, we're gonna do a toilet eclipse. Toilet's gonna be gone. You're gonna be like, what the hell happened? There's no
Okay,
toilet.
you guys know that you have to know how much,
They don't know.
as crazy as I am, but the amount of patience without a master bathroom, one bathroom, even during the holidays, it's going to be 3 years in October. I deserve
Did you say
the
October?
crown. October will be 3
October.
years, yes. Anyways, yes, our discussions go from nothing space technology to bathrooms, dogs, family, makeup.
Yeah, I should just rewrite the notation on the channel and
Yeah,
just put all that.
at
on
least
there.
on Fridays.
Yeah, for the JC Live stuff for sure.
Oh, I'm totally gonna film it. I have pictures and stuff, but we've had this discussion too. You can't easily put stuff on YouTube, and then I'm like, oh, I'm gonna put it on Instagram, but then I'm busy too, and then
Yeah.
I forget. But yeah,
Guys, I always wanted to share with you short videos, and YouTube does not allow any creator to put a short video into the community page. Only photos and stuff like that. That's it. Which I think is stupid. I mean, this is a creator community that does video. We do video. So don't just limit us to photo. And it would be really cool just to give you little snippets of what's going on, or some behind the scenes, or me working on an edit that just sucks because it's just killing me, or whatever. I would love to be able to share that with you. But they don't allow it.
Yeah.
We can only do pictures.
all right. Let me catch up on a couple
Come on,
of
YouTube.
comments
Get it
here.
together. Yes.
Dutch said, when it is Boeing, I am not going.
No.
Boeing can't even keep their planes in the air without crashing. Better go with an Airbus.
That's true.
Darn Ghost 2008, shipping is crashing too. More accidents than ever before.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that's true too.
It's a wreck.
Yeah.
You know?
Pissed off puppy. When I win the lottery, I have to get one of those new SpaceX suits.
Wouldn't that be cool? Did you see that suit?
I played the lotto, by the way. I got one number
Let me see. Let me get one.
out of 3 tickets.
You didn't get nothing?
Just one number.
God. All right, here's the suits. Let me flip over. Here it is. Is that not cool stuff? Look at that. Yeah. Kind of neat. I like it. Looks very fake. Looks very
It
green
looks
screen.
very, yeah.
But I still like it. It's very cool. The suits are definitely neat. Definitely neat.
All right.
Compared to the old suits that we used to see, on the space shuttle and stuff, or even in 69 and 72, when we landed on the moon, guys are like this.
TJ Miracle
that.
said that's spin the bottle. We're talking about the OnlyFans.
Yeah, you know what it is? No, it'll be this. It'll be spin.
Oh my God.
Spin the starship.
Great. Space Cowboy said they need their wife there helping, and maybe their site would stay better updated. Facts.
That's facts, because the wife is definitely going to be a little bit.
TJ Miracle.
Methodical.
Yes, balance is great. Great couple. Thanks, TJ. Hiran
Balance.
Matos. Next time, please send a crew of Optimus bot instead of humans.
Yes, Yeah, absolutely. I think they'll do that, honestly, for going to Mars. They'll have probably 100 who knows, maybe more of the Tesla robots, the Optimus robots. They'll probably do stuff like that. It just makes sense to do that. So we'll see.
Excuse me. Our GSD rules, Jay, sounds like I need to come and inspect that bathroom.
Yes, need
Somebody
to inspect. Wow.
send backup.
Any professional that has seen it has said that it's a good job. So that makes me feel good that at least I'm not doing that's not taking a long time and then ends up being crap. It's actually taking a long time, but it's actually good.
Oh, Deb said post it on your site or Discord, like bathroom updates. Like
so that's a good point.
Can you?
Yeah, so that's a good point. A lot of people don't know that I have a Discord.
So people can sign up?
Yeah, so if you go to community.jcristina.com, let me see if it pops up. I don't know. Community.
.jcristina.com.
Yeah, let's see if it pops up. Yeah,
there it is.
Let me see. Let me see if I can share the screen. There you go. That's what it looks like. So if you go to community.jcristina.com, you see it's got the portal here, whatever. This is how you would log in, and it gives you different perks and different things if you want to be a member. So you could be a member and you can contribute $1 or $5 or whatever you want to do, or you could just get on for free. Either which way. And it's the Discord server. And as you can see here, look, there's a free membership. You can select that, or $5, $100 for lifetime, whatever you want to do, right? And then it takes you over to the Discord server. So you could definitely check that out. There is hundreds of people on the Discord. And there's just all kinds of chat rooms in there, from photo to video to tech stuff to all kinds of things. And I'm going to be adding into it a lot more of the Starlink stuff soon. I haven't done it yet because I've kind of I haven't been working on it for a while, but I'm going to get back into it because, just like you said, it's a great place to be able to share things that you can't share on YouTube. So anyways, Discord, definitely give it a shot. Give it a look-see. Do the free membership. Who cares? So you can see what it looks like.
TJ said, show some merch every now and then. That's a good idea to put on the Discord.
There you go. There's some merch right here. This is a shirt.
Yeah, I put in the link in here
that you can find
too.
On the website.
On
JCristina.
I'm gonna put it down on the link too. And then let's see.
Let me see.
Space Cowboy said, congratulations on 3 years with only one bathroom. Joseph still has to use the outhouse if he has to pee in a hurry and Fab is getting ready.
Yeah, that pretty much. Anyways,
Haran said, just remember the toilet paper tip goes outwards.
That's always the thing, right? So here you go. So here's a whole bunch of the teas, a lot of the at the top, a lot of the products that I've invented over the years that you can find on Amazon, on B&H Photo and Video in New York, and then you can find the tea mugs, the tea time cup that I created in the shirts. Here you can see Megabit. Matter of fact, Megabit is sitting at the bottom of the screen right now, right? I think, yes, Megabit is there. Yeah, Megabit is there. And then you can see this 1776 shirt and all the rest of the stuff. And they're all here. So definitely, if you want to take a look at some of the Dark Moon teas, check them out over at jcristina.com/shop. jcristina.com/shop. Shannon with a purple hair. Shannon with a purple hair chat.
We're here so early.
We're here early. Shannon, I don't even know.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We don't even know when this is going to actually
hair
launch.
With green shirt. What do you think? Does it go? Is it saying Patty-ish? Kind of?
Kind of Patty-ish. More like Patty-ish.
I'm not a Patty.
Okay. Same Patty.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
But I just like celebrating.
I think it's great. I like it.
Stupid.
It's bright.
Well, I'm trying to wake you guys up.
I like it.
Keep you awake.
Thank you, Shannon. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all of your support. Really do appreciate it.
Yes.
Let's.
And it's so early, Shannon, too. I feel completely off.
Completely off. And I don't even know. We don't know when this is going to even happen. I don't know.
It better happen.
It better happen. Do you remember this happened with IFT? 8. It was supposed to happen, what was that, like March 3rd or something? And then they pushed it back, and we were here. I'm waiting for like hours and hours and hours. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, sorry, we're having problems with the Super Heavy. We're having problems with the Starship. Oh, now we're having more problems with the Super Heavy. Yeah. Ended up being booster problems, Super Heavy. It was problems all around, right? From booster to Starship. Then again, it blew up, right? So...
Yeah, let's see. Dutch, why do we still have the poll for IFT 8?
Who the hell knows? Is
that a YouTube thing?
That's the Streamlabs people. And they push those polls out because I'm using them to monitor if any super chats come through or if someone becomes a member or whatever.
I thought it was a YouTube thing.
It's not an actual person. It is a robot, an automation that is from Streamlabs, and Streamlabs is the one that contributes. And as you can see, do you see what just happened? Streamlabs is the one that did that and popped up the gift and all of that stuff that it does. Shannon just gave 10 free memberships. Thank you, Shannon. Wow.
If you just got a membership gifted from Shannon, please reach out and say thank you very much.
Wade Johnson, you got a free membership. Invisible River got a free membership. Ken, Puck Elf, I like it. Puck Elf. Rabbit Coyote 666. Who else do we got here? Jason, Tina, Dustin, Greg, and Snate 2.0. You got a free membership. Say thank you to Shannon. Really do appreciate it, Shannon. Thank you so much for all the love that you showed to the channel. Really is helpful, very much so. Let's go back to this real quick. I just want to see what is going on over here. These are the people. If you don't know, these are the people that were going up.
It looks fake.
It does look. These are probably rendered. They're probably just put together, whatever. But we can see here. It does say 7:03. Let me hit refresh on it. Let me see if it still says 7. It still says 7:03 ET, Eastern Time. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see if it actually happens. I don't know. If we go back here to watch the mission, holy hell, it's actually live. T-minus 1 hour. Let's go and listen in real quick. Hold on just a second, guys.
Wow. Wowzer.
And we are now less than an hour until launch, and they are settling in for final checkouts, propellant loading, and getting ready for launch itself.
Yep, and NASA has its very own set of team members at NASA's Mission Control Center in Houston, Texas, who have been preparing the International Space Station for Dragon's arrival. The teams in Mission Control Houston recently gave their go for launch, confirming that the station is ready to receive Dragon and the new crew. Following liftoff, today's flight to the space station will take about 28 hours, with Dragon flying autonomously the entire way. Docking is targeted for 11:30 p.m. Eastern, 8:30 p.m. Pacific, tomorrow, March 15th. And just like autopilot on a commercial aircraft, the crew always has the ability to take manual control of the spacecraft if needed.
And before all of that happens, as the booster returns to the launch site and slows down from supersonic speeds, people in the immediate area may hear a brief double clap of a thunder-like sound known as a sonic boom.
Similar sonic booms like this were heard during the return and landing of the space shuttle, and sonic booms like these are one of the hallmarks of reusable systems like Falcon.
Here's what some of these booster returns have looked and sounded like on previous missions.
I know a lot of people will be excited when they hear the sonic boom.
And these are going to provide quite a show because you're going to hear those sonic booms.
Booster landing deployed.
The 6 feet of silver sunshine panhandle from Greenhead, Florida.
That is good. We want to see sun shining. I'm going to turn the volume down because they're playing. So just how bad it is. They're playing some music in the background, and just that little bit of music that they're playing will demonetize the entire live. That's what YouTube does, and I think it's disgusting because, other platforms do not do that. They understand that it is like a news, almost like, you should have fair use, and they don't look at it that way. Anyways, here we go. We're back.
At Johnson Space Center to see how things are shaping up at Mission Control in Houston. Gary, how's it going?
I want that jacket.
Hey, Jesse. Hey, Anna. Thanks for having me. Welcome again to Mission Control here in the Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. We're the hub of human spaceflight at NASA, and the team here is poised for launch and preparing for the crew to lift off and begin their journey to the orbiting laboratory. In the home stretch of rendezvous, NASA and SpaceX flight controllers will enter into what's called integrated operations. Both flight control teams will conduct a series of go, no-go polls for Dragon Endurance's docking to the International Space Station. Rotation missions like Crew 10 help NASA continue to maximize the important research and technology demonstrations made possible only in the International Space Station's unique microgravity environment. The space station is critical for NASA to prepare for future commercial low Earth orbit destinations and to understand and overcome the challenges of long-duration spaceflight necessary for a long-term presence on the Moon and crewed missions deeper into the solar system, including Mars. Now here's a closer look at the mission and what Crew 10 will have to look forward to during their stay aboard the International Space Station.
The Crew 10 mission is going to be a rotational mission to the International Space Station.
So we will launch aboard the SpaceX Dragon capsule and the Falcon 9 rocket.
I'm just enjoying the way towards the launch. Of course, I'm looking forward for the day of launch.
And we are going to stay there about a half a year.
So the first goal of Crew 10 is to continue learning about the Dragon and the Falcon 9 rocket that we're going to be flying on to enable SpaceX to continue their development of rockets and even private astronaut missions in the future. The other mission is to get us safely to the International Space Station so that we can crew this incredible national orbiting laboratory that we have and continue the science experiments that we have ongoing there.
One of the unique characteristics of the International Space Station is microgravity.
We get to learn how humans and plants and other types of hardware react in the space environment and the microgravity environment.
And it helps us to develop all kinds of new materials, medicines, and it helps us to push our knowledge forward.
The discoveries that we make on board the International Space Station then inform what we do on Earth, and it allows us to further both humankind here on Earth and get to further places in the universe.
So I've often been asked why we explore, and I think it's different for everybody.
When people are born, they naturally want to explore their environment, first as babies, and then as kids, and finally as adults. That's how we expand our world, and that's how we find something new.
Every time that we make a further step, we learn something and we learn how to adapt, and that is so important to humanity.
This is probably the main things which drives us forward and helps us to survive as a species.
There are so many unknowns in space, and as explorers and as humans, we want to find out what's in that unknown. For me, it's the fact that I get to be a small piece of figuring out what the unknown is and taking that next step to get to the Moon and to Mars and the Artemis program.
Our ultimate goal is to go to Mars, but it's not an easy journey, and when we face a new challenge, we must solve it step by step.
I think that's one of the biggest benefits of the International Space Station. We're outside of the atmosphere, and now we don't have the protection of the atmosphere. What happens, and how do we better prepare our people, our hardware, our food, our water systems for that deep space exploration? It's really important on the space station that we learn those lessons now when we're in low Earth orbit. That way we know what we need to bring with us when we go onto the Moon with the Artemis program.
One of the things that we do on the International Space Station is work with our international partners all across the world.
I think it's hard to overestimate the value of international cooperation in space exploration because we all know that it takes much time and effort.
Space is hard, it's very challenging, and it's sometimes unpredictable, and that's why I think cooperation is the key to success.
The International Space Station wouldn't be international without all of our partners.
And our goal is to be a beacon of hope for all of humankind so that people can look and say, this is what we can accomplish when we work together.
T-minus 52 minutes and counting. We just pulled go for NASA and SpaceX to begin propellant load at T-minus 35 minutes. A great update there to our milestones. We now have NASA's Megan Cruz live from a nearby launch viewing location here at Kennedy Space Center. Megan.
Hey, yeah, back here again today, and the weather is as beautiful as it was Wednesday, and the crowd as excited as ever to see liftoff in less than an hour. Now, we again want to bring in Mike Ravenscroft with NASA's Commercial Crew Program. He's on console working the launch today over at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. Mike, great to have you back.
Hi, Megan. Happy to be here.
All right, so again, thanks for stepping off console.
All right, I'm turning them down just a little bit. You can still hear them kind of in the background. So at least this is going to happen. We got T-minus 51 minutes, which is good, and everything still looks like a go, and the weather is really good in northern Florida. So that makes me happy. That is really good. So we're not going to push it back an hour or maybe even a day. This should launch. I love how they do the change, like the little connecting path that leads out to that cone, right? It's just neat the way that it's set up, you know, in comparison to just a regular launch where it's just a rocket and off it goes and that's it. I just think it's just amazing how this happens if you think about it, you know. And then later on, the bottom end, the booster will end up landing in the middle of the ocean, you know, on a drone ship. It's like, how is it even possible? It's crazy. So, guys, if you have any questions, put in @JCristina. Okay, then what I'll do is I'll come right back. We're going to listen. We'll go back to listening to what they're talking about, and then I'll just turn them down and I'll answer questions for you. All right. So any questions, put them in the chat. Put in @JCristina, and then I'll come right back in like 2 minutes or so, and we'll see where we are then.
Hi, Gala girl. You made it.
Mission. So we track all the issues that come out from all that in the first flight, and we review all that data. And then when it goes into maintenance for our flight, we are tracking all that work along with SpaceX and ensuring that the vehicle is ready for day of launch and a safe flight for the crew to the ISS.
And Mike, last question for you. You know, how do you feel just being a part of NASA's Commercial Crew Program?
This is awesome. I can't imagine myself anywhere else. This program, I've been here for quite a while, and you know, this is a family. You get to work with folks from all over the country, from California to Texas to Alabama to here in Florida, and it's just a family, and that's how we feel about each other. We work hard. We get to work with a lot of great contractors, and so, you know, day in and day out, you get to show up for work and enjoy what you do.
Yeah, and do amazing things together. Mike, thank you so much. We appreciate your time.
Thanks, Meg. Appreciate it.
All right, let's get back over now to Anna and Jesse in Hawthorne.
Thanks, Megan. Falcon 9 is the first orbital-class rocket capable of reflight. Together, Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy have completed more than 450 launches and over 380 reflights.
And today, the booster will be attempting to land at Landing Zone 1, which is just down the coast from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. This will be the second flight of the first stage booster supporting the Crew 10 mission.
Rapid reusability drastically reduces launch costs, helps increase launch frequency, and enables a wide array of new government, commercial, and scientific opportunities in space. Lowering the cost of access to space is helping take humanity's next steps into the solar system, whether in low Earth orbit, interplanetary, or even deep space. And when costs are lower, government and commercial customers can launch more missions, which helps accelerate development. This also helps commercial satellite and private research customers afford to launch more projects to space, which helps stimulate innovation here on Earth. All of this to say, reusability is the key innovation that is making space more accessible for the industry as a whole. And just like the first stage of Falcon 9, Dragon is also reusable.
The reusable Dragon spacecraft has flown people to the International Space Station 13 times. And as we mentioned earlier, today's crew will fly aboard the same Dragon that previously flew the Crew 3, Crew 5, and Crew 7 missions.
But back to today's mission. We are coming up on T-minus 48 minutes to launch, and our teams are carefully moving through the pre-flight process. Now, a lot of preparations have brought us to this point, including a dry dress rehearsal, static fire on Sunday, and an initial launch attempt on Wednesday. Now, we did stand down from that attempt due to a hydraulic system issue, but the teams completed inspections of the ground support hydraulic system used for the clamp arm supporting the Falcon 9 rocket and successfully flushed a suspected pocket of trapped air in the system.
Now, all of that hard work brings us to today's launch, and next up in our
The team has pulled go for LES arm, propellant load, and launch.
And there, you just heard that the team had pulled go for both prop load and for launch. So that was the next step in the countdown that we were waiting for, and that was from the SpaceX launch director, and they were calling up to the crew to let them know that we had received that.
Yeah, so they're actually, 2 minutes early on prop load. Normally at T-minus 45 minutes is when they start. The director will be like, yes, we're go, so let's get propellant start loading, and that's what ends up happening. T-minus 42 minutes, that's when you have that access to the arm, that retraction of the arms happen. That's at 42. We'll see that happen at right around T-minus 42. So that's the next thing to look at. But for right now, they're starting to go with the propellant load.
On your screen, you can see Crew 10. They are on board Dragon, waiting to get the green light to stow the crew arm for the launch and arm the launch escape system. And we did just hear that go, so we should start getting a good view of that access arm.
Guys, what do you think? How would you feel about sitting here now for almost an hour? Yeah, just stuck like this.
What if you have to pee?
I think they have little urinal things going on in these suits, but I don't know. The boots and stuff, it literally looks like boots, like I don't know, that you would wear like farming or something. But you're sitting there and trapped in this thing at the top of it for an hour. That to me you have to be really mentally strong for that. I could tell you, I ended up running in a NASCAR. My wife bought me this NASCAR experience, and I got to run the track at 160 miles per hour in this NASCAR. And you have radios, you have other people on the track. My radio went bad, which
what else is new?
Of course, because that's my luck, so I couldn't hear. So I was literally driving blind because there's no mirrors, and you can't turn your head because you have the whole harness on, and you're stuck in this thing. But you're literally claustrophobic, because they got you wenched in there so tight that you cannot move at all, and you're just stuck. And there's no, obviously, air conditioning, so you're just heating up. It's really, if you have any type of claustrophobia, even just a little bit, you couldn't do NASCAR, trust me. And this right here, when I look at that, it feels like that, when you're just stuck in there. Anyways.
I'll call hold on the countdown net. Launch control will abort the launch auto sequence immediately and proceed in the launch abort auto sequence. At T-minus 10 seconds, launch control will be hands-off, relying on automated abort criteria for the remainder of the count. Operators advise the launch director whether structural breakup or fire is imminent or occurring per Dragon manual escape flight rules.
Probably, right?
Launch control.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe if they end up having to poop, maybe they just maybe they do a colonic or something like days before, and they're like completely. I really don't know.
Gallagher said, "Looks like
and
they're
that
on
was
a
the
roller
launch
coaster
director
ride.
performing a briefing with the crew.
They're like so calm, right?
Sounds like everything is go for launch, and we're going to start seeing that crew access arm moving away from the vehicle.
Yeah, so it's about.
We should also see
propellant
10
load
getting underway.
Is how long the trip is.
Well.
That's
Again,
it.
our teams are staffed
They're on
around
a
the
rocket.
clock in mission
So
control
it's about
here
10
in
minutes,
Hawthorne,
and at 10
Michigan,
minutes,
Houston, as well as
the
launch
doors
control
open
center.
and stuff. You
To
know,
monitor
they're literally
Dragon
there.
throughout its
Now
entire
it takes
mission
hours
from
for them
all
to
the way to
dock.
Crew 10's
It's a
arrival
really
at the
slow,
space station, and then on its
very
return home to
precise,
Earth.
obviously, process. As you can see right now,
And there
they
you're
just
seeing
pulled
some
the.
great shots of the crew access arm pulling away from Dragon.
There you go. The arm is being pulled away. That is just the coolest
Clear
scene.
skies.
Now
as
you're
far
really
as the eye
stuck
can
up
see.
there.
Perfect weather for today's launch.
There's no way out. You're not running off it now. You're pretty. Your arm's going away.
Yeah, you're screwed now, guys. No more bathroom, no more nothing.
That's
Wait,
it.
so
Like,
So Michael Johnson said, I assume all these issues have happened before and pooping was likely been into account and everything before CAT scan or something.
Probably.
But so like my question is like, if you have to go.
Yeah, weather looks
and you have, like, the
amazing over
special
there
suit,
at pad
like, you have no
39A.
privacy, dude.
You can
You're,
see
like,
that crew
right there.
access arm
Yeah.
still moving.
So,
it'll
just so you
move
guys
all the
know,
way to
talking
that
about
90
Such
this
intelligence
degrees away from
conversation.
You know,
Crew access arm
you know,
extraction
because
complete.
And
I
there we just heard
research stuff like
confirmation
this
that the
because
crew
I'm
access
like,
arm has been
Most
fully
said, wait, they can
retracted.
be in
That
the suit?
process
I
is now
don't know.
complete. Again, the next
yeah, of
step
course.
in our
I'm sure
process
they
leading up
can.
to today's launch
That's
at
how they make it.
7:03
You know,
p.m.
it's
Eastern, 4:03
it's set
p.m.
up that
Pacific
way.
will be
Oh,
the
Lord.
propellant loading, and that should be getting underway here shortly. In the meantime, let's go ahead and check back in with
See, our
Daryl at
I
conversations
can't. You see,
always go
it just
forward.
digresses, right? It goes into the
All right, thank you
toilet.
very much,
No
ladies.
pun
Back
intended.
here with NASA astronaut Jessica Meir as
So-
we orbit
Oh, Chad Kelly
was
said,
it?
hell no, get me out.
Launch
So,
complex
if you-
39A
so
here at the Kennedy
here's a little
Space
fun
Center,
fact for
going
you.
in
Oh
circles
God, Joe's
on
coming out
Pi
with fun
Day.
facts, y'all.
Seems
Hang
fitting,
on.
Jessica.
All right, fun fact for you
Absolutely.
guys. Fun fact. I'm going to turn them down. So Crew 6, right? So the 6th one that they launched up was actually had a toilet upgrade on it. And it was something that no one really talked about, but there was, let's say, things floating in microgravity that shouldn't be floating. Urine, maybe some poop, I don't know. But they ended up doing some additions to the bathroom facility, right? The toilet, whereas they do not have this I guess they would call it containment process that was implemented from free-floating microgravity particles that were kind of moving around. So yeah, so that was Crew 6. They didn't really talk about it a lot, but they enhanced the bathroom. Okay. So there you go. If you want to look it up. Crew 6. A little fun fact for you.
Let me see. Hold on. Max said, hopefully the 10 minutes won't feel like a whole day to them.
No.
And Heron Matos, any chance the ship flies by Starman and the Roadster to see how they're doing?
Starman and the Roadster.
Gallagher, at least if they get stuck, they can recycle their pee bag and drink it if they don't have enough water. Yuck.
They could, absolutely.
Dutch, so they got a more upgraded than your bathroom, that is sad.
Exactly.
Very sad.
Exactly.
Running these
So when you're in the back,
milestones
you
early
can
at
just think
this
about
point,
them,
which
and you
is
just
a
know
good thing.
they have a better
So
facility.
Yeah, it's great.
It was March
Escape system is
2nd.
verified armed.
What did they say?
Verified arm coming
Oh,
back.
okay.
So March 2nd, 2023 is when they fixed the bathroom facilities. So there was
There
not,
we have the verification
let's say,
that the
particles
launch escape system
floating around.
is armed. A
Could you
high
imagine that
energy
shit?
system.
Literally.
You're just sitting there and
You're
somebody's like,
you're like,
all
Very
right.
much needed in case
hey,
something
Harry,
And you
happens
can't
with
control
Harry,
it, so what
Yeah,
if it
Harry,
just
is
goes-
this
the
yours,
astronauts on board
buddy?
can actually
Buddy.
hear. They can hear it being armed.
And
They
you're
get
like-
the sort of loud thump that they hear. And of course, that launch escape
Like,
system
what?
consists of 8 Super
Mo
Draco
said, I bet
thrusters.
they
It's really
didn't do
it's
the
only
tiles.
used for
No.
an abort in this case. And it's armed
Oh
2 minutes
my
before
gosh.
the loading of the
Yep.
fuel.
Michael Johnson, crewmate,
And
why
I'm
are you
wondering about
smiling
your
at me?
thoughts in
Me,
this
it's
moment
not a
as you
smile.
hear Commander Ann McLean get
Oh, man.
these systems ready.
Yeah,
Lord.
crewmate.
Your
Is that a
friend,
mustache?
Your fellow
Yeah.
classmate
It's not a mustache.
getting ready to go.
It's an emoji.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
things are getting very real right now. It's
Yeah,
really
that's
interesting.
just
Yeah,
not-
like, look,
doesn't
they just-
seem very
I know
fun.
from my own
Yeah, they got their
experience.
waders
So the
on.
guys on
You
the
actually
top,
have to
right?
remind
They're
yourself that it's
good.
actually
These
Ones in the
guys-
back.
because you have
Oh no,
been
but it floats
through
anyway, so
Oh,
it's like
okay.
yeah, you
series
know,
of
it doesn't
readiness
really
and
matter.
all of these checks
Yeah, that's
and all
true.
the
But if you
comm
think
checks and all
about
the
it, look
physical
how
actions
small
so many
those
times
suits
in
are. These are
various
fully
simulations.
pressurized suits, right?
I remember
wild.
on
But
my
it's just-
launch, I
that's
really
just
did have to
amazing.
remind
That's
myself.
amazing.
You
I'm
just
looking at
sit
my
there.
monitor.
See the guy on the
going
left, he's
through all
closing
of
his
these different
eyes. He's thinking
Ps
about
and
all the bad
procedures.
things that he's
But
done.
then I would
He's
hear
repenting,
something,
as
maybe
someone
the
said.
groan of the fuel
He's
in the
thinking, you know
lines,
what?
or
This could
quite
be
a
it.
slight movement
might
of the
go out in
rocket,
the boom.
and that was what made me
You
realize,
just don't know.
oh, wait a minute. At the end of this one, I'm not going to be going home.
Yeah, it
and
was
going
it
to
was
dinner. I
horrible. You
will be
remember
in
with
space.
Space
So
Shuttle.
perhaps that
Yeah,
realization
we
is
lost
kind of setting in for these 3 astronauts
teacher,
and
a bunch of
cosmonaut.
people on
I'm sure it's a
on
little
there.
bit different for Ann and Talk, who have gone through
Not
this, gone
good.
through a launch before. Totally new for Nicole and Kirill. So a really nice blend of experience in that Dragon capsule today.
And a beautiful scene
No,
outside.
that's a good question.
As
I
we
wonder
head
if it's hard
towards
to blow their noses
sunset,
in
we'll be
space.
lifting off
The
just
atoms.
before then.
That's a good
at
question.
7:03 p.m. Eastern
Really
Daylight
good
Time.
question.
sunset right around 7:30.
Grok
It should make for
Grok
a
it.
beautiful launch
I like
for
that,
those
right?
who are
Like it.
gathered in the
Yeah.
area to watch.
Instead of Chat GPT,
The sky
Grok it.
It's like a shirt.
will become lit up
Do we want to
as
grok?
the sun dances with the exhaust from the Falcon 9
Hug out.
rocket.
Hey, hugs and fives all. High
These
fives.
launch escape
High
systems
fives.
that we're talking about are, of course, a vital
Oh,
component
Puckel,
of any
yes, you got
vehicle
gifted,
that
Shannon
contains
gifted
astronauts
membership.
on board. And it's something
Yes.
that we
Shannon's
hope, of
awesome.
course,
Thank
to
you so
never
much,
have to
Shannon.
use. But the few
Once
times
again.
historically
Mo
when
said,
we
you know,
have
I
had
would
to
be
use
fast
them
asleep and miss the
also
whole
provide such a
Liftoff.
testament, such a great test of that system.
Don't fall asleep, Mo.
I remember very
They're almost
well
there. T-minus
Nick Hague and
37
Alexei
minutes.
Ovchinin's support
Let me give you a
on the
recap as far as
Soyuz
what's
that
going
happened
on
in
right now. At
2018.
T-minus
I was in training at the
39
time
minutes,
in
that's
Star
when
City,
the Dragon
and
launch
that
escape
abort
system was
happened
armed.
when they were at about
If you don't know what
30
that
miles
is,
up, and they
basically,
ended up going up to about 50
just think of
miles
like
and then
if you were
landing
in like a
safely
fighter
due to the
pilot, you know,
very
type of thing, and that you have to pull the
reliable,
trigger.
highly
Well, they
functioning onboard
have
system.
escape
Search and
routes,
rescue
right? There's
teams were
things that
there
can
to
happen
haul
to
them
get them
in
out,
about
like
10
escape pod
minutes.
type of
And
thing.
a
Where,
really
like,
stressful day,
you
of
know?
course, for
So
everybody.
yes, the escape system is armed. It's turned on. So there was times you remember way back in the late 60s where you end up with a fire and they can't get the astronauts off.
That was a stressful
And what
day
ends
for
up
everybody on
happening
board
is
and
not a good
everybody on
thing,
the ground.
right? So,
But again, a really nice
Honey
test
Badger
to see
said
that these
CBS
systems are
and
in
New York
place for a
Times
reason
title
and they
includes
do work.
NASA SpaceX try
Nick
again to
Hague
launch
went to
Starliner.
space that day
They
and
have to
came
use
right
the word
back.
of
Unfortunately,
again.
everything
in
went
quotes.
well, and he
yes,
was able to
they needed to
return
improve the bathroom
to the ISS,
situation.
and
LOL.
he's up there now.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's up there right now
Exactly.
waiting for this mission
Yeah.
to join him. I know that he's very much looking forward to giving Anne and her crew a big
I love
high
reading
five,
all of the
especially
headlines
for those
for
8-ball
this,
classmates, but
and,
really for
how
everybody on board.
ridiculous
We
some
joke
of
in
them
our
are.
class that Nick
But,
launched
it is what it is.
2.5
So at
hours
T-minus
so far for
35
his
minutes,
2
which is
missions
coming
to
up
space,
within
but
1 minute,
he's got a little
that's
bit
when
of
we're going to
extra
see the
experience.
RP get
We
loaded
have
on,
learned
which is
so
that
much
rocket
during your
grade
time here,
kerosene
Jessica,
gets
spending
loaded
it
in,
with us,
and then
giving
right
us your
after that, or
insight
at the
and
same
talking
time,
about
is
your
when they start
experiences
loading
in
the LOX,
space
the
flight.
first stage of
We
LOX, which is
appreciate it
the
deeply.
liquid
Also,
oxygen,
the audience
and then right
appreciates
around
it as they
16
continue
minutes
to
is when
ask
they,
questions
or
on NASA,
T-minus 16 minutes
NASA's social
countdown,
media
that's when they put the
channels,
second
Ask
stage
NASA,
of LOX.
Twitch,
Liquid
Facebook,
oxygen
YouTube,
into
and X.
that's when that
Dolores
starts
Kiefer
loading.
asks, now can the ground
So,
crew talk
and at
to
T-minus
the
7
astronauts
minutes is
during
when they start
fueling?
chilling down
Yeah, they
these
can.
Raptors,
We just heard a
getting
call
them
go,
super icy
and
cold,
those
right,
comm
ready
loops are
for
open.
launch.
Of course, we can talk to the
So that's what's
crew
going
in
on. Right
case
now,
of
we
any
see that
type
they
of
have
emergency or
the
any type of information that they
the
need. We
rocket
have
grade
those comm
kerosene,
loops open.
right? They call it
Interestingly,
RP,
speaking
RP1
about
is
that,
being
the
loaded
crew can
on,
actually
and the liquid
hear
oxygen.
the fueling process.
Bye,
so
William.
they can hear the
See you on the
valves, they
next
can
one.
hear the flow
Thanks for being here, William.
of the fuel as
Gallant
well.
Girl,
So interesting
where's
for them to be
Elon?
following
Have they
along with the
shown him?
process.
It's a good
Can
question,
hear
right?
it,
Oh,
see it,
here's Elon.
and
He's right
feel
there.
it. Just a few
I knew you
seconds
were gonna
now
do that.
before we start propellant load
There's Elon.
for the Falcon 9 rocket.
In the last 10 minutes, I would say, great, now I have to pee. LOL. That's Mo.
I will make sure to take Elon off.
The launch auto sequence has started.
And not cover telemetry
Yeah.
like I did last time because I'm an idiot.
And here we go.
So
Don't be an idiot.
Tanks are
Yeah, I
being
won't be an
filled.
that's just
Pump
awesome.
load is underway.
The arm
Dutch
just
said,
pulls
and
off.
also if
Dynamic
they need
time
to sneeze
for
and
the
it
astronauts
flies
and
faster, will the
the
fart
ground
also
crews.
work when they all fart? Well, God, I can't. Space Cowboy, if you fart, Dutch, just pray
For
that
this
the air
countdown today, we
scrubbers
got a little
don't
further
reboot.
and have gone further than our attempt on Wednesday, which stopped
I
at
kinda like
T-minus
that.
43 minutes. We are now
Valley Girl, I
T-minus
wonder if they
34
have a
minutes, and
TV and
everything
they're
is looking
watching
good.
this and
The vehicle is go. Spacecraft
The one guy,
is
he's
go.
got his eyes
Ground
closed.
teams
I
are go.
He's not there.
And
Don't
now
they have
we
stuff
are
that they have to
tanking this
check
rocket.
off and
Not
stuff?
not yet.
Not anymore.
Yeah, right now there's
Not anymore. I'm thinking everything is like done.
No,
You know.
right now it's all automated. Everything goes down to like this part is all automation.
So this crew is
what
hearing
were we
those
gonna ask
sounds,
Rock?
as we mentioned. They can hear the fuel
Rocket?
flowing through the valves.
Something
They
about
through the pipelines, and this is a rocket-grade kerosene called RP1, and also liquid oxygen. That is the fuel for this powerful Falcon 9 rocket today.
It flies faster. Will that also work
1.8 million pounds of thrust. Once the rocket takes off.
No, the question was
Yes,
was it
if
hard
they
to blow
all-
your nose in
Oh,
space?
yes. Wow. How do
Thanks
you
to
remember
our
that?
Kennedy
You
Space
don't
Center
remember
freaking
stuff.
amazing.
No, you
for
just
these
have
beautiful
like,
helicopter
when you
shots.
want to listen and
Doing a
retain
great job.
information. Everything else is just like blah, blah, blah.
Just stop.
Let's go back now to
me
Hawthorne,
see.
California.
Let me see.
And join our
Here we go.
commentators there.
We'll put it over here next to Elon. Here's Grok. I'll put it down here.
We are at T-minus 33 minutes from launch and getting closer and closer to launching Crew 10 into space. After the long-duration mission is complete, Crew 10 will be the first NASA commercial crew mission to target a return splashdown in the Pacific Ocean. NASA and SpaceX have been working together toward certification and readiness for Dragon recoveries on the West Coast. Since 2019, Dragon recoveries have primarily occurred off the coast of Florida. SpaceX is moving Dragon recovery operations to off the coast of California to allow Dragon to complete its deorbit before safely jettisoning the trunk over the Pacific Ocean, comparable to the first 21 Dragon missions. Crew splashdown locations are near Los Angeles, Oceanside, and San Diego. The recovery vessel Shannon will be stationed in Long Beach, California to support the new operations. And to establish this capability that improves public safety, NASA and SpaceX worked for months establishing new sites, obtaining regulatory approvals, performing engine assignments and software changes, as well as tabletop exercises and flight rule updates.
It'll be really exciting to see Crew 10 come home after they're done with their long-duration mission. But Crew 9, who Crew 10 will be handing over once they get docked to the space station, will, of course, still splash down off the coast of Florida in a few days. But back to today's mission, let's go ahead and learn more from the astronauts flying today.
You know, I often get asked why we explore. Some people explore because it's exciting to ride on a rocket. They like the boom, they like the flying, they like the electronics.
Shannon,
they like
the
to
super
go
chat,
fast.
what it says, there's a Mile High Club. Is there a 250
answer questions about the context in which the Earth
could
exists? How old are we? How many
I have a
galaxies
feeling
are there?
that
How
everything
big are
that's
we?
done on
Are
the
we like
ISS
a
is
speck
being
of dust on somebody's
videotaped,
sleeve,
so I
or are
don't
we the
know
biggest
if that
thing
will actually
going
happen.
out there in the universe?
But listen, we'll listen to more what they're saying in just a second, but the question was about the blowing of the nose. What is the story with the blowing of the nose, guys? What is the story? And sure enough, this is what it says. It says, yeah, blowing the nose in space is trickier than it sounds. Without gravity, mucus does not just flow down like it does on Earth. Instead, it kind of floats around in your nasal passage.
Around.
Just floating snot
That's gross.
in your nasal passages, or even bubble up. It'll bubble in a weird way. Astronauts have to deal with this because of the lack of gravity.
Why if you're stuck up there like these people for so long?
It messes with how fluids behave in your body.
God. You can't tell me that you're happy being stuck up there. Stop.
Look at this. They say they often use special techniques, like likely forcing air out while they're holding onto tissue. So it's like they're doing like this whole thing to be able to do it because everything is just
They
floating.
have to do all kinds of things just to survive, like
Just-
on a daily. Oh my God.
Yeah, so that's a really good question. I love that question. So yes, it's not easy to blow your nose in zero gravity.
Mo said, great, now I've got a flu coming on crewmate.
Screwed. Literally. You're
Oh my God, that's hilarious. Gallagher, what do the astronauts do when they get to the space station?
They just like hang out, they have a party.
Figure out how to blow their nose.
They figure out how to blow their nose, figure out where the bathroom is. That's actually working now as of Crew 6.
David Pointer, why are we not seeing the fuel vapor that we normally see?
You'll start seeing it. You can see it right now. It's starting to vent off a little bit. As it gets colder and cold, you'll see it. Just hang tight. You'll see it. It'll get more and more as it. Remember, it just started at T-minus 35 minutes when they started the kerosene, but the liquid oxygen, extremely cold, obviously, that's going to be loaded on at the exact same time. And then finally on the second stage, or the first stage, you're going to end up with that loading in, I believe it's around 16 minutes or so. That's when that second stage of LOX gets finally loaded in. And by 7 minutes, T-minus 7 minutes. That's when they start chilling down the Raptor engines. Chill.
Selected as an astronaut by Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency
Hurry
in
up and
2009
Hurry up.
and has logged 113 days
Hurry
in
up
space, and he will
chill.
eventually be the station commander.
Yeah, that will be a very nice moment to see as Anne hands over those leadership
I
reins
can't even
over
watch what you're
to
doing
Talk.
at any given time
Transfer
because I don't know what's
controls
going
from
on
her
over
as
there.
the
All of a sudden,
commander of
all of a sudden
the
there'll be be like, I don't
over
know,
to talk
Barney
to the
will
commander of
start
the space
playing or
station.
something. We'll be watching
Great
cartoons.
opportunity
I
for
don't know.
leadership for both of these experienced crew members.
And the second mission specialist is Kirill Peskov. The
Maybe
Roscosmos
there's
cosmonaut
something
was
over there.
selected as a cosmonaut in 2018 and will be also making his first space flight today.
Shannon.
This is really the ultimate
Bombs,
of Kirill's
yes,
very
bombs incoming.
curious and adventurous nature. I hear he loves to discover all aspects of and areas
Shannon,
of Russia
thank
and
you so
the
much.
US
What is
now
going
in his
on with
SUV,
this?
and he is always exploring. So this will
For
be the
some
ultimate
reason,
of his
this
exploration
happens
today for
all
him
the time.
and for all of his crew.
And all
YouTube
4 of
Studio
these crew
freezes,
members are
and I have to like
pilots.
restart
They speak
it.
that
I don't know
common
what that
language of
is.
aviation. That must be comforting
So
to all
weird.
of them.
I think so, and I think
wish they
it has
would
brought
fix
them
it,
closer
but,
together as a crew. They can almost read each other's minds, they say. Sometimes,
Okay,
you know,
Shannon,
they don't even need words, and they have this
10
shared sentiment,
memberships.
this shared
Johnny,
language.
King,
it makes them a
Kavita,
very
Jamie,
synchronous,
Alan,
cohesive
Marcus,
crew.
Steve,
And for the
Lorenzo,
past year and a half,
Titus,
that crew
and
has been
Bada
training diligently to be
Bada
ready
Baba?
to help
Bada
conduct
Baba.
science
I like that.
investigations
If you got a
aboard
membership,
station.
please shout out
The crew
Shannon.
will
Thank you
perform
very
biomedical
much.
research and
Shannon,
technology
thank you so much for
demonstrations
that.
over the 4-month expedition.
That is so
Commander
so
Ann
nice.
McLean
Let
is
me go down here.
participating in the
Yes, we're
Canadian
working
Space
now again.
Agency space experiment involving heart health.
What's up, nerds? It's
What's
Dominic.
up?
Dom is
connected
in
to
the
sensors throughout my
house.
body,
Dominic's
and
here.
they are
We're
collecting
here
real-time
early.
data
I don't know
on
what
my
we're
heart rate,
doing.
oxygen saturation, and my
It feels
respiratory
weird.
rate. Imagine
Yeah.
the day where
What
you
am
go
I
see your doctor
doing
because
here?
you're concerned about
Look at
your
this.
heart health,
Checking
and they
oxygen
give you these
saturation.
sensors to wear, and they get this massive, comprehensive look at your cardiovascular health over multiple days doing multiple activities.
Don't even say it.
Another science
Don't say what
investigation
you're
on
thinking.
board involves tiny
I'm
materials
not-
quiet.
I
inspired
have to
by
be
our
quiet.
own
I can't say what I'm
DNA.
thinking.
that
This
can help
is like a
be
PC
used here
show.
on Earth with those people
Yeah,
who
I know,
suffer
right,
from
Mo?
arthritis
That's all we
in
do
their
is
knees.
work. And then I leave my day job, and then I gotta come into work because the boss over here.
Let's go back to Megan Cruz, who is standing by with NASA Acting Administrator Janet Petro.
Here we
That's
go.
right, acting administrator since January, and then of course before that, center director here at Kennedy since 2021. And
Dutch
how does
said,
it feel
question for
to
Joe
be
the
back
know-it-all.
here
Does a
after
fart
watching
freeze
another
in
great
space?
Oh my God, I can't, Megan, tell you
Does
how
a
excited
fart
I
freeze in
am to be
space?
here. And I was here the whole week. You know,
I
we
would
had
say it would.
unfortunately had the
Probably just
scrub on
in
Wednesday.
true space and
But
outer space would
I
just
cannot
crystallize, I would
explain the
imagine.
feeling of
Any
coming
water
back
vapor would
home.
just
You know, I
crystallize.
love this center. I love this workforce. I love the mission that we have here at the center. So it's very exciting. You know, in DC, it's not my normal job jar down here at the Kennedy Space Center being center director where, you know, I had the workforce and the mission. So I'm super excited to be back here and to be able to witness this launch later tonight.
Yes, absolutely. Launch is going to happen here shortly. And you know, I know we've been talking about this a lot in the broadcast, that every single member of Crew 10 is a pilonaut. Yes, actually. A pilot, as are you.
That was
Just
very
talk
loud.
to
I'm
the
gonna
crew.
turn
I
it
see
down.
that they've
Who is
signed your
this?
hat.
I absolutely did. So I got to see them a couple times. So when they landed at
can
the
always get that.
landing
Like, just
facility
leave
here, I
them.
got to see them and greet them.
You don't like
and that's
the
where they gave me
overtalking.
this
Yeah,
hat, which
leave
is so cool.
them.
I've never gotten
I'm
a
gonna put this
present
back.
from a crew before. So Crew 10, hats off to them for giving me, and they did sign it. And then on Tuesday, we got to go what's called Behind the Glass tour and
It is
talk to
Friday.
them. They're behind the
TGIF,
glass because they're
everybody,
in
if you're
quarantine,
here.
and we got to talk to them and ask them questions and talk to them and just see how they were
T-minus
doing. And so
24
that's pretty
minutes.
special. So I got to talk to all of them, all of those pilots there, and they are super excited, ready to go.
Yeah, and speaking of excited, you know, we have NASA astronauts Sunny Williams, Butch Wilmore, Nick Hague, plus Roscosmos cosmonaut Alexander Gorbanov. They're going to come back shortly after Crew 10 arrives on station. During a live press conference from station recently, Butch and Sunny said they're going to miss space.
Absolutely, because you got to think about the astronauts. And by the way, last week from Johnson Space Center's Mission Control, I did get to talk to Butch, Sunny, Nick, and a little bit to Don Pettit there, so I got to talk to them as well. But you got to figure they, you know, to be selected and trained and the passion that they have to go to space, you know, for them, it's got to be, this is what they do for a living. Mm-hmm. This is what they're going to do. And in fact, I would bet they might have some mixed emotions for leaving because, you know, every time you get to go to space, which is what all astronauts want to do, you never know. It might be your last time because you might not be selected for another mission or whatever. So I bet they have mixed emotions leaving their colleagues up there at the space station. I'm sure they're anxious to get home and put their feet on Earth and spend time with their family, but I think that they have enjoyed their time in space. You know, when I said behind the
The only thing, guys, is the people that were there, obviously the two that were there for, instead of 8 days, they're there for now 8 months. They're probably eager to get to their families, is what I'm going to guess. I don't think there's that many mixed emotions going on there. That's just my personal opinion. I don't know.
Valued member of this expedition crew, and they've done amazing research. They've done
his daughter's high school graduation.
It would be nice. Right?
Yeah. Holds a record for the most amount of time in the vacuum of space. They have to be very, very proud of what they've accomplished. They were very much integrated as a crew and did a lot of work on the station, research and science experiments. And so, yeah, I think they're going to miss space. I think so.
Well, Janet, no mixed emotions here. It was great seeing you. I'm going to put this in a jar of memories of today because this was wonderful, and we're about to see launch.
All right, thank you, Megan.
Janet.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, we'll send it back to Daryl and Jessica.
All right, thank you both. And just behind them, as you saw in that shot, was the Vehicle Assembly Building, a very iconic building here at NASA, where we recently reached a major milestone in NASA's Artemis program. That's, of course, preparing for the first crewed mission around the moon in over 50 years. Engineers finished stacking the twin solid rocket boosters for Artemis 2. These 177-foot tall boosters will provide most of the 8.8 million pounds of thrust needed to launch 4 astronauts on a 10-day lunar journey. There's a shot of the core stage, which they're starting to work on now. Since November, crews have used a massive crane to lift and assemble those booster segments. They're each packed with avionics and motors that will safely detach after launch. Now, with the completion of that, they're going to focus on the SLS. Artemis 2 will carry NASA astronauts Reid Wiseman, Victor Glover, and Christina Cook, along with Canadian astronaut Jeremy Hansen, on a mission around the moon. So here's Jeremy now with a little more about that.
Hey everyone, I'm Canadian Space Agency astronaut Colonel Jeremy Hansen, mission specialist for the Artemis II mission. I'm here at the Johnson Space Center here in Houston, Texas, where we normally do most of our training. But every once in a while, we like to change it up a bit. Reid, Victor, Christina, and I recently spent several days in Iceland trading in our spacesuits for hiking gear to study its geology and surroundings. Why Iceland? Well, as you can see, it has a similar landscape and terrain to the moon, with various volcanic rocks like basalts and breccias, and has limited to no vegetation. The Nordic island has been a lunar training site for NASA astronauts since the days of the Apollo missions. My crewmates and I teamed up with scientists and geology experts to explore the huge boulders, formations, and volcanic craters across the lava fields. During our journey, we stopped at various spots to discuss what we observed.
Some of the really fine material is compacting into what's like the glue holding this together.
And even tested different types of tools to collect rock samples. Although we won't be landing on the moon during our mission, this field work and navigation practice will allow us to make informed observations when passing the lunar surface and pave the way for future Artemis crew training. And that's your Artemis Moon Minute.
I'm hoping Artemis
For more Artemis
actually
updates,
goes through.
scan the QR code on your screen right now. Or visit nasa.gov/Artemis-Roman numeral 2 or II. You don't have to worry about getting updates there, though, because, Jessica, you are friends and former classmates with both Victor Glover and Christina Cook.
Yeah, that's right. They are my astronaut classmates, like brothers and sisters, and it has been so exciting to see this Artemis journey. I was here for the Artemis 1 launch, and that just made it all so real. We saw the hardware, we saw the vehicle, we saw the launch, and we knew that the next time that vehicle launched, it would be with my friends and colleagues on board. So it was an incredibly exciting moment.
This is something that you would see the astronauts
That
eat.
launch coming in February of 2025,
pizza, right?
currently scheduled on the calendar.
this was
Let's
pizza.
go back now
Could
to
see like a
SpaceX
shuttle.
in Hawthorne, California.
But look, guys, let me zoom in a little bit
Thanks,
here.
Daryl.
Does it work?
As we continue to count down, let's take a closer look at the vehicles that will be taking Crew 10 to the International Space Station today. Falcon 9 is a two-stage rocket
I'm
developed
trying
and
to see if it'll work.
manufactured by SpaceX, known for its safe, reliable,
It's in
and
Russian.
cost-effective access to space. It's also the first orbital-class rocket capable of reflight. And sitting at the top of Falcon 9, Dragon and its trunk stand over 26 feet tall. There are two
edible.
windows on the spacecraft, plus one underneath the nose cone. The nose cone opens shortly after launch to expose the forward bulkhead thrusters and docking mechanism that will connect with the space station. Dragon's trunk holds solar cells, which power Dragon while it's in free flight, and the trunk can also carry unpressurized cargo. Now, Dragon has played a significant role in advancing our future in space by safely transporting crew to and from the space station.
I'm going to turn them down. Go ahead.
Glad I happened upon this, as I live an hour south of Kennedy Space Center and had no idea this was happening tonight.
There you go. You're going to see it. You're going to see it launch.
Is it edible?
Yes, it is edible.
Flown, Dragon is capable of carrying up to 7 passengers to and from Earth orbit and beyond.
And Dragon has 16 Draco thrusters that can be used in space to help navigate the spacecraft to its destination, each providing 90 pounds of force. That doesn't include the 8 Super Draco thrusters used for an abort, which are no longer active once the crew is in orbit. Dragon has flown 49 times, with 15 human spaceflight missions since 2020, when Dragon became the first private spacecraft to take humans to the International Space Station. In that time, Dragon has flown over 1,000 experiments to space and 56 crew members representing 14 different countries.
Dragon has proven to be a versatile spacecraft. It can autonomously dock to the space station when outfitted with the International Space Station docking adapter, as it is for today's flight. When it's not going to the space station and in free flyer mode, the docking adapter can be swapped out for a cupola. Another option that we have is the Skywalker hardware, which supports extravehicular activities as the crew used during the Polaris Dawn mission. Now continuing down the vehicle, we do have the second stage. The second stage is powered by a single Merlin vacuum engine, or MVAC engine, which is optimized to perform in the vacuum of space. After stage separation, the MVAC will ignite and carry Dragon to its target orbit. Now, the Falcon 9's first and second stages are connected by the black inner stage, which houses the MVAC engine and the system that decouples the 2 stages during stage separation. And below that is the first stage.
Stage 2 LOX load has started.
Good call out. Stage 2 LOX loading has begun. Below that is the first stage, which is powered by 9 Merlin engines. These 9 Merlin engines provide the initial thrust to lift.
Dragon SpaceX reporting that we continue to track no issues with Dragon or Falcon proceeding to launch.
SpaceX Dragon, copy.
Great news, just calling out that we're tracking no issues. These
good.
9 Merlin engines provide the initial thrust to lift Falcon 9 off of the ground through the lower, thicker parts of the Earth's atmosphere. Now, each of these Merlin 1D engines delivers about 190,000 pounds of thrust at sea level, which gives Falcon 9 a combined 1.7 million pounds of thrust.
And after stage separation, Stage 1 will return to Earth for recovery and reuse on a future mission.
For the server, we're using Unraid server. Check it out.
Located near the top of the booster, which will guide it during its re-entry and landing. The Falcon 9 first stage is also equipped with 4 landing legs that deploy and allow for vertical landing on a drone ship or landing pad. Now today we will be attempting to return the booster to land at landing zone 1. The second stage will power Dragon into its initial low Earth orbit.
Just so you guys know, they didn't tell you exactly how high they need to go, and the ISS is sitting right around 400 kilometers, so 250 miles in space. And it takes about 10 minutes, I guess, right around there to get there.
Autonomously fly to the space station. With T0 coming up in just under 15 minutes, our teams are doing a series of system checks to ensure Dragon and Falcon 9 are ready to go.
We're looking at, I'm not sure if you heard me on that, but it's 400 kilometers in space. That's where the ISS is, or 250 miles.
Continue to be
So, and it
healthy
takes about 10
as we
minutes
continue
or
to
so
listen
to get
and
there.
watch
So I
the
repeated it
countdown.
just in
Our teams are
case
preparing
someone
the
didn't hear me.
vehicle for flight. Propellant loading of both RP1 and liquid oxygen began at T-minus 35 minutes. And we also heard the call a few minutes ago that the launch escape system is armed. The launch escape system is designed to propel Dragon away from Falcon 9 in the event of an emergency during launch. Now, the range, which is monitoring the keep-out zones among other key flight requirements, also continues to report no issues, and they are go to support today's launch.
And weather also continues to look good. You can see it there on your screen, clear skies. We are still trying.
Oh no, there's a question. Robert Marshall. I'm using 12 8 terabytes SSDs and equivalent RAID 6 config.
Nice. That works out good. We're using Unraid server. We're using Unraid array. Basically, it's Unraid. And the Unraid has about 38, 36, 42, somewhere on there, terabytes of data. And it works really well. It's pretty quick, too.
Per hour, and Dragon needs to catch up. That means we have to deliver Dragon to the correct orbit by timing its trajectory relative to the orbiting laboratory so that they are in the same place in orbit at the same time. So precise liftoff time is crucial for hitting that rendezvous point. And at this point, if we hear a hold for any reason, we would have to stand down and target our backup launch opportunity, which is Saturday, March 15th at 6:41 p.m. Eastern, 3:41 p.m. Pacific. But again, everything and all the systems continue to be go. And for now, we're going to go ahead and turn it over to Gary at the Johnson Space Center for a quick status update from Houston.
What clips? Imagine the icicle you would make.
Hey, thank you, Anna. Back here in the International Space Station Flight Control Room at NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston. Teams continue to
What are you guys thinking about pea icicles? What is going on?
Leading the teams inside the room is Flight Director TJ Creamer. The team in Mission Control Houston, the team in Hawthorne, and the astronauts aboard the space station will track the autonomous docking of Dragon Endurance when they enter joint operations. This will happen when the spacecraft enters the approach ellipsoid, the invisible boundary stretching 4 by 2 by 2 kilometers that helps us monitor all arriving and departing spacecraft. Is essentially the neighborhood of the space station. Once docked, crew members in both Dragon and aboard the station will perform a series of leak checks, then work to open the spacecraft's hatch for Crew 10 to float into the station and begin their stay.
Like I said,
we anticipate that the hatch will be opened
an 8-day voyage turned into an 8-month voyage for 2 astronauts that were on the inaugural flight of that Starliner from Boeing, which failed. So we'll see if they get contracts from NASA anymore or if that's just it. $6 billion thrown in the garbage, pretty much. I don't know.
Beba Smith said, at the risk of looking silly stupid, are they just going to pick them up and come back tonight?
No. They're going to dock. They're going to dock, and then it'll be, I think they're going to be landing off the coast of Florida, but I think that's tomorrow, next day. So we'll be watching it, and then I'll probably do a short on it or something.
Over top of the west coast of Australia,
Scott
so too far to
Scott.
see the launch.
This is rocket science, haha. I've been waiting my whole life to say that after
It's nice to see a rocket go off when you're on the ISS, but unfortunately it won't be the case
exactly.
this time.
Oh yeah, it is a wonderful thing to see when your crewmates are heading towards you. I remember a photograph that Christina took of my Soyuz approaching the station, and one of these incredible opportunities that you could see the outline of the trajectory of the Soyuz as it approached, and it's such a beautiful image. It's a shame they won't be able to see it, but they will be so excited to have their crewmates come on board.
And we're about to hear from the crew here before launch. We'll hear from them after launch. It'll be special. They have some important things to say.
Oh, absolutely. I am very excited to hear these final thoughts coming from the entire crew right before launch.
Okay. All right. With that, we'll send it back to SpaceX in Hawthorne, California.
Go config. Draw straws on who gets shotgun for the ride home. Scott from South Carolina.
Thanks, Daryl.
USA paying for this to study peace cycles in space.
I think USAID is pretty much done.
When Falcon 9 launch commit criteria get checked by computers.
Dragon, SpaceX.
Said it will be like 10 days before
Confirm
the crew comes
crew displays
home.
are configured for launch.
Nori's almost a month.
Yeah, according to what my understanding is, it's like March 14th, March 15th, 16th, right around there.
Crew 10, we'd like to say that today we celebrate the countless individuals all over the world that have made this journey possible. To the engineers, instructors, flight controllers, scientists, and leaders who worked tirelessly to get us here, thank you for your dedication to the safety and success of this mission. And a special thank you to our friends and families for your unwavering love and support. This mission is a testament of what humans can achieve when we work together. Go Crew 10!
Go Crew
Such
10.
great words from the crew. Again, and some cheering going on. You can see that on your screen.
SpaceX copies. And from the entire SpaceX team here, it's been a pleasure working together to prepare for this mission. And from all of us, good luck, Godspeed, go Crew 10, and enjoy the ride.
Enjoy the ride, guys. T-minus 8 minutes, 45
from our
seconds.
core here in Hawthorne in Mission Control. Now, there are many systems in place to ensure that the rocket and the crew are both safe leading up.
So just so you guys know, the next event will be T-minus 7 minutes, and at that point, they're going to be chilling those Raptor engines so that they're super cold for ignition. And then at T-minus 5 minutes, that's when the Dragon will transfer over to internal power. Right now, you can see all those cords, they are connected. But at T-minus 5 minutes, those cords go and everything is internal at that point.
We'll continue to coast for a few minutes after that prior to separation.
Do a good job.
Do a good job. Yeah.
You'll hear some performance calls along the way as we get into the final countdown and then after liftoff. And these are SpaceX flight controllers reporting on trajectory, speed, booster performance, and other key milestones. So some of the callouts you will hear after liftoff are a combination of letters and numbers, which will mark different abort zones throughout the flight up the eastern seaboard. The first two are 1 Alpha and 1 Bravo, which are abort modes available while the first stage is firing. And then the next round of numbers and letters you'll hear are 2 Alpha through 2 Echo, though you'll only hear the 2 Alpha call on the public loops, and those will come into play once the second stage kicks in. And then diverting a little bit from the other naming system, you will hear the call out Shannon, which refers to Shannon, Ireland. And this call means the crew could target off the coast of Ireland if they needed to abort late in the second stage burn. And you'll continue to hear those different call outs along with key performance call outs from the guidance, navigation, and control officer along with the propulsion lead. We're now just under 7 minutes away from launch.
Engines are chilling in for flight.
Oh, one more biological question. Do you think you would hear, I really got
We just heard that confirmation that the stage 1 engine chill has started.
I was
Yeah,
not
exactly.
expecting to read
That call out is because we are flowing a little bit of liquid oxygen
Peter,
into
does
the
Dragon
engines. That's
have
to
an
help
emergency
prepare
ejection system
the
in case
vehicle
something
or
goes
the
wrong?
engines
Yes, they do.
for the full flow of liquid oxygen into the engines. That makes sure that we don't shock the system at that full flow. Now we are still loading. Excuse me.
Wonder how much
at
of my
liftoff,
text
Falcon 9 is
funding
consuming
this.
about 700 gallons of fuel per second. So engine chill helps us prevent that
Stage 1
thermal
R2
shock
unload complete.
into the engine. So again, we have passed that T-minus 7 minute mark. Next call out will be stage 1, RP1 loading complete, which we just heard that.
And the RP1 is densified kerosene or rocket fuel that will propel the crew into orbit. All of that RP1 is now fully loaded into the rocket, and since we previously heard that second stage loading was completed. We are still loading the liquid oxygen or LOX onto the first and second stages, and this is the oxidizer needed to combine with the densified kerosene that just finished loading. The RP1 liquid propellant needs an oxidizer to combine with in order to ignite. Coming up in just under 30 seconds at that T-minus 5 minute mark, we will hear the call for Dragon to configure for terminal count and then transition over to internal power.
You can see all the venting going on. Someone was asking about that. Will it start venting like Starship and Super Heavy? Same exact thing, just on a smaller scale. That's basically it. Shannon, thank you so much for gifting those memberships. Shannon, thank you. We're at T-minus 4 minutes, 50 seconds. We're there. All is nominal. This should go off.
Terminal count.
And there we just heard that call out for terminal count. So now Dragon onboard computers will take control of the spacecraft. And we also heard that the propellant tanks on Falcon 9 are getting ready to pressurize, adding some additional structural support to the rocket as we get ready for that strong back to retract. And that strong back provides access to Falcon 9 fueling. Falcon 9's fueling lines
has started.
That strong back lower has now started, and again, that strong back provides access to Falcon 9's fueling lines and umbilicals for both propellant load and the different gases being loaded on board.
T-minus 4 minutes. At T-minus 1 minute, that's when the flight computers take over for the final pre-launch checks, when they check to make sure everything is good. T-minus 1 minute.
And once they're fully open, then that strong back or the TE can begin to recline away from the vehicle.
Probably should.
Now, initially, we are going to recline that TE just about 2 degrees away from the vehicle, and then we will fully move the TE about 45 degrees away up at T0. And they're maybe a little hard to see on your screen, but the clamp arms are opening up there. There's a better view. Looks like the clamp arms are now fully open, so that TE will begin to move away from the vehicle. Very slow and slight, but just enough to get two degrees away from the vehicle.
There it goes.
And then coming up in less than 30 seconds at the T-minus 3 minute mark, the first stage liquid oxygen or LOX load will complete. And we'll continue to check through a couple more fueling milestones, including one around the T-minus 2 minute mark before flight, where we'll hear liquid oxygen loading is complete on the second stage. And now you see all of those white clouds on your screen. Those are clouds of vapor, and they're completely normal, and we'll see them continue to build up as we get closer to launch. This is because liquid oxygen is super chilled, so a little of it will boil off in the warmer Florida air.
What if one of those UFOs just flew out in the middle?
I think it'd be cool. Then Elon would be like, there is UFOs.
Stage 1, LOX load complete.
Great call out there. Stage 1.
What happened? What is going on? Oh,
Don't
they're
you
back.
dare.
Putting liquid oxygen onto stage 2, and that'll wrap up here
What is going on with the cameraman?
at the T-minus 2 minute mark, just about 20 seconds from now.
2 minutes.
And once we finish propellant loading,
now the pee gets
that will mean that 1 million pounds of RP1 and liquid oxygen will be loaded onto Falcon 9 here, just under 10 seconds.
Pressurized.
Stage
T-minus
2,
1
LOX load
minute,
complete.
full pressurized tank.
We just heard confirmation that the stage 2 liquid oxygen loading is now complete. We are under 2 minutes away from launch. Gas closeout has also begun. So we're now isolating all of the feed lines for the different gas systems from the Falcon 9 rocket. And those gases will then get vented overboard through umbilicals and the strong back. And you just heard that call out that Dragon is an
Ground
audit
gas
aisle.
closeouts, expect loud venting.
That's a decent amount of
You can
venting
hear that
there.
venting now. Obviously, rockets are very loud, and the sound can impart pressure loads back on the rocket itself. The ton of water absorbs and prevents the sound from hitting the structure and reverberating back onto the rocket. And that call out for auto idle puts the rocket in a state the flight computers understand before it takes over, making sure the transition to final countdown is smooth.
T-minus 1 minute,
and all the
guys.
flight computers on
T-minus
board are
1
in sync
minute.
and configured for launch.
Falcon 9 and startup.
There's a finished bathroom.
And now we just heard the Falcon 9 is
You can
startup.
look at
Countdown.
And in the final
Full
countdown,
bathroom
less than a minute to go, and at the time of launch, the space station will be flying 260 statute miles over the west coast of Australia.
Dragon, SpaceX. Go for launch.
Go. There you go. T-minus 45 seconds.
And great call out.
SpaceX, Dragon Crew 10, copy, go for launch.
Great
That's
call
2
out that we'll
goes.
go for launch, and we do have a large crowd here in front of Mission
T-minus 30
Control,
seconds.
waiting to watch Crew
Thanks for the
10
super chat.
take
on.
off today.
Thank you for the super chat. What's up, Bruce?
You're here with us.
T-minus 15.
15.
T-minus 10. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition.
There he is.
And liftoff. Go SpaceX, go NASA Crew 10.
Come on. Everything's lit.
And liftoff of Crew 10 now
Vehicle
soaring to the
pitching down
International
range.
Space Station. 1.7 million pounds of thrust now propelling Falcon 9 and Crew 10. And we're continuing to get good call-outs on the first stage performance so far.
It's just crazy. Unbelievable. Kilometers per hour. Altitude, 3 kilometers. Everything's looking lit.
We're now 40 seconds into today's flight.
Power and telemetry nominal.
Continuing to get good
At 1
performance
minute and
call-outs.
58 seconds, it should say max Q. That would be the maximum or peak
Yeah, we are throttling down
mechanical
the
stress.
engines in preparation for Max Q.
There's your max Q.
What great timing that was. We just passed through Max Q. That's the largest structural load that the vehicle will see on ascent.
Perfect.
Vehicle supersonic.
Supersonic. Engines will cut off at 2 minutes 26 seconds.
We're now just over 1 minute and 10 seconds into today's flight, traveling at more than 1,400 miles per hour.
Stage 1 Bravo.
And we just heard that call out for 1 Bravo, which means we're in the second and final abort mode for the first stage, continuing to get good performance. And the crew already pulling over 2 Gs. Next up, we'll have a couple of events happening in rapid succession.
Impact chill started.
First will be that engine chill on the second stage impact engine, which we just heard. And then we'll have MECO, or main engine cutoff, where the 9 engines on the first stage will cut off ahead of the first and second stages. Will be separating from one another. Then the single Merlin vacuum engine on the second stage will ignite and continue to carry Crew 10 to orbit while the first stage begins its journey back to Earth. Now we're just 2 minutes into today's flight. The vehicle is traveling just under 4,000 miles per hour.
We're just about 20 seconds away from those events that Anna just mentioned. The 9 Merlin engines will shut down here in just about 10 seconds for MECO.
There you go.
Stage separation
MECO.
and SES-1.
Here it comes.
Main engine cutoff.
SpaceX Dragon, 2 Alpha.
Stage separation confirmed. Copy, 2 Alpha.
There it is. Perfect.
Great call-outs and incredible views there on your left-hand screen. On your left-hand screen, you can see a view from stage 1. And an extremely excited crowd here in Hawthorne. Awesome views of that boost back burn on the first stage, as well as the MVAC engine igniting on the second stage.
Yep.
Great views there.
Perfect.
Now the booster is in its boost back burn. This is the first of 3 burns as it makes its way back down to Earth. This will last about 45 seconds. And the crew, 10 crew, is still on board Dragon attached to Falcon 9 second stage, which you can see there on your right-hand screen.
And we're now at 3 minutes and 20 seconds into today's flight. The vehicle is traveling about 6,500 miles per hour. They are on their way to the space station. And we did have that confirmation
Boost back burn
coming up
is
at
done.
the boost back shutdown. And then coming up at the T+6 minute mark. And there we have our first images of the crew inside the Dragon spacecraft as they make their way into orbit. And the crew
Dragon, SpaceX, nominal trajectory.
1,000 kilometers per hour.
continuing to get good call-outs.
SpaceX Dragon, copy nominal.
Stage 2 continues to be on power with in its firing until we get to that second stage
See the
engine
little
cutoff
fins
around the
popping
9-minute
out?
mark of flight. About 5 minutes
It's gonna land on the
flight
back
to
of the
go
drone
before
ship.
Dragon will be flying free.
Are we going to be able to see
Yep,
that
you're gonna see it.
That's wild.
You see it? You see it? See the little burst?
Yeah.
Some cool views
Getting
there on
the
your
all
left-hand
just like
screen.
tilt.
That's the first stage booster
lit yet,
as
but
it's
you'll
making
see.
its way back down to Earth. This is a ground tracking camera getting these awesome views.
And on the right-hand side of your screen, you can see
You'll
that
this
lone
pop.
Merlin
Be
vacuum
like-
engine of the second stage. We're continuing to get
No,
good
it's still
performance
directional. You'll see the
on the
bottom.
second stage. And the crew's G-loads will dip right when we hit the separation events, and it's going to continue to build up until then.
Dragon, SpaceX, nominal trajectory.
Perfect. Plus 5 minutes.
SpaceX Dragon, copy nominal.
We're now at 5 minutes into today's flight with a liftoff at 7:03 p.m. Pacific, 7:03 p.m. Eastern, 4:03 p.m.
T-minus
Pacific.
40 seconds before you
Continuing to
see
get
that
good call-outs
initial
as
burn.
Stage 1 makes its way back to Earth, and Stage 2 continues to fire, propelling Dragon into orbit.
If you're just now joining us, the 4
Landing
members of Crew 10 launched from
Slow
Launch
down,
Complex 39A at Kennedy
Roger.
Space Center in Florida. And they're currently on board Dragon, still attached to Falcon 9 second stage, which you're seeing there on your right-hand screen. On your left-hand screen, the first stage vehicle is making its way back down to Earth. It already completed the first of 3 burns as the boost back burn, and the next event coming up for that vehicle is going to be the entry burn.
Dragon, SpaceX, nominal trajectory.
Great call-outs there. That entry burn is coming up.
SpaceX Dragon, copy nominal.
That entry burn is coming up here in just under 20 seconds. We'll reignite 3 of those 9 Merlin 1D engines to help slow the vehicle down as it makes its way back into the Earth's atmosphere.
You'll see it fire up.
We're now just over 6 minutes into today's
About 5
flight as
seconds.
Dragon and the second stage continue
There it
traveling
is,
at
there it
over
is.
12,000 miles per hour, making their way into orbit and on the way to the International Space Station.
There, we just saw on the screen, it was very quick, but we had the entry burn, which we got some cool views of that from the ground, which is awesome. Now, the next event coming up will be the landing burn for the first stage. That's coming up here in about 30 seconds.
Dragon SpaceX, nominal trajectory.
Again, great call outs for...
This is really good. Everything's going perfect as planned.
Confirmation there from the crew as they continue to make their way into orbit. Now 7 minutes into today's flight, the first stage making its way back down to Earth and the second stage continuing to fire.
This is an awesome view. Let's see if we can see the center engine relight for that landing burn here in a few seconds.
There it is. Perfect. And now watch, you'll see the...
There's that landing burn. Let's watch as Falcon 9 touches down on landing zone 1.
You can see that?
Stage 2 up to left.
Look at that. Here's the other picture. And there you go. Something tall like that lands perfectly with the feet. Not what we saw happen with the lunar landing. Just saying.
That's amazing.
And now that the first stage has made its way back to Earth, we're about a minute away from the second engine cutoff, which we're expecting around the 9-minute mark of today's flight.
And say that it never happens, and it's all green screen.
Like, then why are you watching?
We're continuing to get good call-outs, and Dragon and all of the systems on the vehicle are performing as expected. Just over 8 minutes into today's flight, traveling more than 21,000 miles per hour.
I'm right there with you guys.
So you got the second stage engine cutoff at 5:50 or at 8:58, so like 30 seconds.
We're about 30 seconds away from that second engine cutoff, and then shortly after that, about a minute or so later, we will have orbital insertion.
And like I said, it's about 10 minutes. That's it. And you're going to actually see the Dragon, the nose cone
That
opening
call out there
sequence
for
will start
Shannon,
at like
and that is
T
the call out
plus
for Shannon, Ireland, which is the
11 minutes
final
or so.
abort
Right around there.
stage for the second stage off the coast of Ireland.
Look how red
Standing
hot
by
that
for a
metal is.
second engine cutoff.
Crazy.
Inbound shutdown.
It's a beautiful shade of amber.
Yeah, there's the shutdown. You'll see it cool. Look how quick it cools.
I know, but look at the metal. You see how like it moves?
Dragon SpaceX, nominal orbit insertion.
Perfect.
And there we heard
27,000 kilometers per hour when we're at
good
200
confirmation of orbital
kilometers in
insertion. Crew
space.
10 is now well on their way to the International Space Station following a 9.5-minute flight uphill.
Now, the second stage is preparing for Dragon separation here, which should happen shortly. In about 10-15 seconds is what we're expecting. Now we're preparing for
There it goes.
stabilizing the second stage so that we can have a smooth separation.
And there you can see on the left-hand side of your screen.
just to watch
Crowd
that,
is
just
going
amazing.
There on your screen, you can see that Dragon separation, that second stage making its way. And Dragon is now flying free. 10 minutes into today's flight, that was about a minute after we had that second engine cutoff and orbital insertion. It looks like a good separation, good rates. Dragon now flying free.
They're still chilling in there.
Yeah.
There on the right-hand side of your screen, you can see some first images of Crew 10 inside the Dragon Endurance spacecraft as they're now successfully in orbit.
Dragon, SpaceX Chief Engineer on Countdown 1. On behalf of the entire Falcon team, we thank you for flying with Falcon and wish you a great mission. Over to LD.
It was an honor flying with you this evening. We wish you well on your journey and give Crew 9 our best. Thank you for flying SpaceX.
It's like an airline. Thank you for flying. Thank you for flying SpaceX.
SpaceX Dragon, this is Crew 10 Commander Ann McClain. Thank you to all of the teams from across the world who contributed to the launch today. Spaceflight is tough, but humans are tougher. Days like today are made possible only when people choose to do the harder right over the easier wrong. Build relationships, choose cooperation, and believe in the inherent goodness of all people across the world. To my family and friends, without you, I would not be here. Explore boldly, live gracefully, go Crew 10. Now over to pilot Nicole Ayers.
Nicole Ayers again. We're not the first humans to get to orbit, and we wouldn't be here without the bravery and hard work of those who have paved the way for human spaceflight. We now get the unique perspective of Earth without borders and get to revel in the connectedness of humanity. I would be remiss to not once again acknowledge those who helped me get here, to this wonderful view and this perspective, to the teachers, coaches, fellow officers, fellow teammates, Raptor Nation, to my friends and family that encouraged my dreams from the start. Thank you. I wouldn't be here without you.
This is Mission Specialist Takuya Onishi. I want to say a huge thank you to NASA and SpaceX, especially the Falcon 9 team for the successful launch, and we are looking forward to a smooth ride to the International Space Station. 日本の皆さん、たくさんの応援ありがとうございます。9年ぶりの無重力の感覚をかみしめてます。これから先の ISS への宇宙の旅、楽しんでいきたいと思います。I will now hand the mic over to Mission Specialist Kirill.
Thanks a lot to NASA and SpaceX for this wonderful ride, and I want to say a couple of words in Russian. Пользуясь такой чудесной возможностью, хочу поздравить с 65-летием со дня начала подготовки первого отряда. И также хочу сказать спасибо большое за те знания и жизненный опыт, который мной были получены в тех стенах для того, чтобы выполнить этот полет. А также спасибо школе номер 14 города Назарова, Ульяновскому высшему авиационному училищу гражданской авиации и авиакомпании МКАР и Нордвин, где я начинал свой путь в небо. И, конечно же, спасибо большое семье и за поддержку.
And Dutch,
just
said,
extra pieces.
No, Dutch said it was your toilet seat.
Thank you, Crew 10. At this time, I can report nominal dehumidifier activation and service section Draco checkouts.
SpaceX Dragon, copy.
So, you want to know how long it takes? It's usually about. It's going to be some time. We're not going to be able to actually see it happen. It's going to be hours before they're there. But remember, they're at like 200. What are they at now? 203 or so. So they're going to be going up a little bit more to meet the space station. And remember, they're coming through and they're kind of meeting. And that's why it's so important to launch at the exact time that you need to launch at. And if you do not launch at the exact time, you will miss it, right? You'll either be ahead of it or you're going to be before it, behind it, trying to track it down. So the whole idea is to get that, the positioning right and the launch timing just right. This launch timing was dead on, so they're going to have no problem.
Words from Crew 10 as well as the core here in Hawthorne and Mission Control. We also got confirmation that the nose cone deploy is underway. The 6 hooks that hold the nose cone in place during the launch and ascent portions have to retract, and then the nose cone will be able to start to swing open and deploy. Now, this uncovers a number of critical systems for the flight up to the space station, including the forward bulkhead thrusters and the docking hatch. Just pausing in case there were going to be any comms. And we did have good confirmation, good checkouts of the 12 Draco thrusters around the service section. Now, 4 4 to go after we get the nose cone open and then the ECLIS, the environmental control and life support system, activated inside of Dragon. Now soon the crew will be able to get their visors open and get out of their suits and settle in for the ride to the space station.
And how many more hours did you
And
say
now we're
they're
just
gonna
waiting for confirmation that the nose cone has fully deployed with all of the hooks open. But just to recap a little bit, we did have a successful liftoff of Crew 10 about 18 minutes ago at 7:03 p.m. Eastern, 4:03 p.m. Pacific. And following an approximately 9-minute ride after liftoff, we had that orbital insertion, and Dragon and Crew 10 were flying free and well on their way to the International Space Station. They now have an approximately a 28-hour journey before they do reach their destination of the space station.
There you go, guys. 28 hours.
That docking is
I was guesstimating
March
about
15th
19, 20,
at
but
8:30
28
p.m.
hours.
Pacific, 11:30 p.m. Eastern to the forward-facing port of the station's Harmony module. Between now and then, Dragon will perform a series of burns as it catches up to the space station, and that first burn will be a phase burn about 30 minutes from now at 4:52 p.m. Pacific, 7:52 p.m. Eastern.
And the nose cone is about 75% open at this point. Human spaceflight has come so far in the last 5 years with Dragon. In addition to flying people, SpaceX's Dragon spacecraft also enables researchers the opportunity to fly critical science to orbit. And so far, SpaceX and Dragon have carried over 1,000 research experiments to and from low Earth orbit, both to the International Space Station and on our free flyer missions. From DNA sequencing to 3D printing studies enabled by Dragon and the space station test.
That's it. It's going to be a little bit now, obviously 20, what do they say, 28, 29 hours before they dock. And that's just, each time it's a little bit different. Sometimes it's 14 hours, sometimes it's 18 hours. It really depends. So this time they're saying 28 hours. So by tomorrow night, we're going to be able to see them actually dock, which is a cool thing to see also. All the maneuvering to be able to get that just right, the hatch, everything matched up. Really, really cool stuff. So this is really a big thing. The way I look at it is like this. I did a whole kind of like a report, right, on the difference between this and what we saw with the reason why they're coming back, supposedly rescued, which I've told you guys it's not a rescue, no matter how the news plays it. But either way, I just think it's amazing they spent the same amount of money, let's say $4 to $6 billion. But the difference is now, SpaceX with the Dragon ends up with 13 or 14 successful launches. That's with human and cargo, right? So that's a big thing. That is a really big thing. Whereas the Boeing version, right, the Starliner, same amount of money, let's say $6+ billion, didn't get one to really successfully work, right? They ended up with problems with the thrusters. They ended up with a helium leak. The human crew could not come back, and that's why they were, let's say, stuck out there in space for the last 8 months or so in comparison to 8 days. So it's just such a big disparity. And that's why I always say, I'm not a fanboy of Elon, but I am a fan. And I am a fan of what these people do in comparison to what we see everyone else do. It's not even on the same, they're not even on the same level, right? They're just simply not. And the same thing holds true with SpaceX Starlink. This show is usually about SpaceX Starlink. I'll kind of bring it full circle into it. SpaceX Starlink is revolutionary. It's now getting about, 5 million people on the web, but not just on the web with low speeds, but literally broadband speeds from a satellite. And now we're seeing even something better, DTC or direct to cell, where they have 250 satellites on orbit that are basically mimicking cell towers in space, which have E-Node Bs built into them, which are basically modems that you would see on a cell tower locally to you, but you're able to connect with them with an unmodified phone at 320 kilometers in space compared to 5 kilometers up the road. It's a big difference. Same thing holds true with my AT&T phone here, getting 1 bar from a cell tower here, whereas with a SpaceX Starlink, with the E-Node B and the DTC, I'm getting 2 bars from space. That just tells a lot. And right now, they're only able to get about 17 megabits per second speed, but they're looking at about 20 to 30 megabits speed in the not so distant future. And one more thing, which is very important that a lot of people don't know. Those 250 satellites that are equipped with the DTC service, or those eNode Bs, those modems that are equivalent to a cell tower, those are sitting at 320 kilometers instead of 530 kilometers, which normal Starlink satellites are at. Okay, so they're 200 kilometers closer, which is pretty cool, right, guys? Pretty cool. Anyways, there's a lot of other good stuff that I put together for you talking about the DTC service. Go to one of my past videos. I think it was my last video, or maybe 2 videos ago. Take a look at it. It talks about DTC. I get into it a little bit more detailed and give you an understanding of what's going on. So definitely check that video out. Any questions
yes,
or anything?
Some super chats, some shout outs.
Thank you, super chats. We love super chats.
Fragile. Thank
Fragile.
you. Enjoyed listening.
Thank you for being here.
And John VB, glad to see the mission finally happen. Take the stranded people home. Also, your links still say Twitter. LOL. Probably should update that.
Yes, probably should. Probably should. Yep. Thank you for that. Thank you for letting me know too. We'll have to we'll change it up. Yeah, there's no more tweets. We're not tweeting. They're posts. Tweets were this big. Posts could be videos. They could be anything. That's the difference between X and Twitter.
I'm just gonna. Some people are signing off, so I'm just
Yeah.
gonna read real quick a couple things.
Go ahead. Don't forget to subscribe, people.
Yes,
if
like,
you enjoy.
don't like. We'll take them all. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, thumbs down.
Yeah.
If you don't like the content, thumbs down it.
Poop
Because
emoji it.
poops, whatever.
All the things. We take it all. Confessions too.
Yeah, we take confessions. We do that.
Gary said, watching on Starlink with my Rhodesians, Rex and Lionel. That is amazing. Dutch said, thanks, Joe. Time for a power nap. Formula One in 2 hours.
Formula One.
Michael Hari, hey, Joe, are they on the way to the space station?
They are. 28 hours from now, they will be reaching the space station and performing the docking maneuver. So if you want to see it, it'll be about 28 hours, 11:30. Let's call it 11:30. I'll be close. I'll be off a little bit. But let's say 11:30 Eastern Standard Time, you'll see them dock.
Elkwood Bear, love the fact that I'm watching you stream SpaceX launches through Starlink connection.
Yes.
Yes. David Vaughn, thanks, guys. Rich, thank you both for making amazing coverage today. Vaja Jurgens, thanks. It was nice to be with you again, of course, through the connection of the Starlink internet.
So good.
Skippy USA, can't get Starlink yet. I'm in the West North Carolina sold out bubble. Hopefully soon.
Hang in there. It won't be like that for too much longer. All right, hang in there.
Baba Smith, thanks, Joe and Fab. As always, enjoyed. Gala Girl, are you going to do a live when they return the people back?
I'm not sure when that's going to happen. And I think it's tomorrow or the next day, but we'll see. I might do it because it's a big moment. People have been waiting for 8 months for it. So I might do it. Don't hold me to it, but I might do it. I'll do some research and see what the timing is and see if it's in a time window that makes sense.
Mike Nye, always enjoy your content.
Thank you, Mike,
Starlink,
for the super
Ham
chat.
Radio collab, others, thanks. Thanks, Mike, for being here.
Thank you. Really do appreciate that super chat. It does help a lot. People don't think so, but the super chats are very much so appreciated. They do help.
Let's see. David, have a great evening back in 28 hours. Love to just see the docking.
We can do it. 28 hours. Like I said, it's going to be tomorrow, like almost midnight, maybe 11:30. So we'll look into it. We'll check to see what the timing ends up being.
Oh, yes. Russell Trent, good catch. March 13th and 14th tonight.
Yes.
Total lunar eclipse.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. Absolutely love it. And it's a red moon. Right? I believe blood moon.
Yeah.
It's what they call
John
it, the blood
B.
moon. It's really red too. I mean, it looks like Mars, like when you see
Well,
it.
I guess too, it depends where you're at.
Well, that's true.
You know?
That's true too. Yeah.
TJ Miracle, great feed. Jay Wifey, and was a good time. I'm glad you guys had a great time. It was fun being here earlier than normal. So that was different and it was fun. And yes, I agree with a lot of you out there. This was definitely history. Every time we watch these things is history. I mean, it's crazy. I think It's just amazing. It's
it
badass.
really is. It's badass, right?
It is.
Just to be able to do that and actually make that happen. When we see, like for me, okay, it's one thing to launch a rocket, but it's just another thing to then bring that base back, right? The first day. They just literally just see that the legs pop out and it just lands perfectly. There's just something that does not get old. The same thing with SpaceX Starship. When you see Super Heavy, when you see the booster come back and land, and Mechazilla does this thing, right? And like catches it midair. I mean, that does not get old. Just think about the telemetry. Just think about the sheer algorithmic equations that are going on there. It's having to judge for like air pressures and velocity, how much fuel is in it, what is the weight, what is the speeds, what is the yaw and all the tilt and everything. It's adjusting for everything. And I did a video talking about this, how this is all happening thanks to Linux. What we're using here to provide you this content, Linux. We moved from Windows and went to Linux, and this is, once again, what SpaceX uses for all of their systems. That includes the SpaceX Starlink satellites and Starship, Super Heavy, all of it is done with Linux, which is kind of interesting.
Michael Kaufman, thank you for the super chat.
Thank you, Michael.
Thanks for being here. I love that we have everybody that's always here, plus like when we have these type of events and stuff, like we get more people.
Yeah, new people, all kinds of people.
And it just keeps growing, and it's fun.
Absolutely love it.
It's
so good. Thank you so much, Michael. Really appreciate that. Once again, those super chats are just, they're brilliant.
And
appreciate it.
Just because I'm slow today, it's Friday. I mean, you guys know this.
I see pizza.
Yeah,
I like the pizza, Mo.
Mo said lunar eclipse, blood moon, and Pi Day.
And Pi Day. That's right. Pi Day and Blood Moon.
Yes. Space Cowboy, thanks for the great stream. You two have a wonderful weekend. You guys as well. Enjoy. Well, some people will celebrate on Sunday, St. Patty's Day, but it's actually Monday.
Yeah, it is Monday, right?
So,
We got the food already, though, right? Didn't you get
it? Yes.
We're ready to go.
Listen,
ready to go.
I'm here for the food and the drinks. I mean, I'm wearing the drinks.
Slush.
I'm not.
She's like, I'm here for the drinks, the drinks.
I am married to Joe, so maybe,
Wow. Well, all right, guys. Thank you so much for being here.
We appreciate it. Shannon, thank you so much for all the memberships. And again, if you got a membership from Shannon, please give him a shout out. Thanks for making it fun. Thanks for the interaction.
And subscribe. If you're new, definitely subscribe.
Yeah.
Don't
forget. Share, like, subscribe, confess, hate it, like it, don't like it, poop it, all the shits. I don't know.
Richard, thank you for the super chat. Says thank you both for the great stream today. Yes. Thank you for that super chat. What I'm going to do is, even though we're going to kind of shut down here, we're going to leave the stream going for another 10 minutes. And you guys can kind of chit chat between each other or whatever and kind of like bring it full circle straight through. And guys, if there's anything that you want to see that you are loving about the channel, or something that you don't, or something that you don't want to see on the channel, let me know about it, because I'm always trying to advance and make the channel better and better and better over time. And we've been doing this for like 5+ years now, right? But there's now 127,000 of you. It's a lot. And I appreciate all of you. So anyways, thank you very much.
Mo, thank you very much. All you guys, thank you. Have a good weekend. Mm-hmm. And
we'll see you
chat soon
on Monday with some new content.
Not me, him.
Not me. Take care, guys.
Bye.